ChairShot Podcast coming at you here on All In Week Partner Boy Harder. Let me tell you, ooh, that boy ain't right. And other things they say in Texas. It is All In Week as the listener hears this. So, I mean, we have got a jam-packed show for you all here this week. Dynamite 300, Collision 100 reviews. And then I'd imagine once we've done those, we'll then do our boiling hot Texas chili preview of All In. That's such an underrated Simpsons bit. I referenced that about 50 times when I was in Texas and nobody got it. So they thought I was very annoying. Constantly saying boiling hot Texas chili. But
I mean, is this something that we could get a Michelle check on as the customary American? Is that, I mean, over here on this side of the world, we watch The Simpsons into the ground over and over again. We know every single reference from the show. It's like a real cultural cornerstone. And then you watch, you know, the Red Letter Media boys do they've done a few little Simpsons episodes here and there.
Yeah.
But the impression you get from them and from other Americans that I've interacted with is, I watched The Simpsons back in the day and I haven't watched it in 20 years.
Yeah.
Mental.
Seems to be more the case.
It's the only good thing they've ever done. I mean, what? You know,
I don't know. I think the Americans.
Yeah.
But I do think, I mean, based on the proliferation of Simpsons memes and how many people you see posting Frinkiac screen caps, I feel like there must surely be.
I'm sure there's still some.
There's still quite a lot, but maybe it's an unusual. I mean, I think Sky Digital was such the must-have thing in the 90s, and despite being the must-have thing, there wasn't much on there other than the sport. So you got it and you watched The Simpsons.
But I mean, even Channel 4 and BBC 2, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
It was still front and center on these really, important channels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were, now you mentioned they were really making a mint back in the day because they had a BBC deal and a Sky, and their main Sky deal, Channel 4 and RTE over here as well, and we got the British channels also. So there was like 8 different channels to watch peak Simpsons at the time. On top of all as well as you little kids out there with your Disney Pluses, you won't appreciate. We used to go and buy VHSs, and they'd be called The Simpsons Do House Parties. Here's 3 random episodes, one of which might be shit from like season 12, where the theme is that the house gets all up in a mess, and that's 30 quid, mate, for that.
And you were glad to have it.
And you were glad to have it.
Like, brilliant.
They didn't start putting the box sets out for like years and years into the show's actual run.
I had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles VHS with 2 episodes on it. And I thought I was eaten back then.
And we thought, that was incredible. We were like, oh my God, I can watch it whenever.
Watch it whenever you want. 30 minutes per episode. Brilliant.
Likewise, some of those, maybe a little bit ahead of their time, like Nickelodeon and stuff would put out like video cards for like the Game Boy Advance. These were like watching a GIF. The video quality was it was like, here's 2 episodes of SpongeBob in 124p mono Tamagotchi audio on it. Completely unwatchable shite and you go, oh, what? Just 30 quid to watch 2 episodes of SpongeBob and give myself permanent eye damage.
I mean, the discovery of the LP VHS recording function, get double the length out of that magnetic tape, brother. The amount of Keenan and Kel episodes. I must have had the entire first 2 seasons of Kel on a couple of tapes. Beautiful.
It's so funny you mentioned that. I was just earlier today thinking, surely someone's uploaded all of that in like 1080p somewhere, and I can just put that on the old Plex. I haven't watched Keenan and Kel in a while.
It's on Paramount, I think, so it surely would be available.
So it's surely out and about elsewhere. That is what
I mean. Yeah.
The humble days of pre-streaming, and I remember, I think I've talked about how much I loved the PSP back in the day. I mean, obviously the games were really cool, but it was also like, you can put your memory stick into the computer, and again, because I wasn't optimizing these files, you can put like 4 whole episodes of Futurama on your PSP and just watch them. I was like, that's insane, dude. And like 2 episodes of the Ricky Gervais show. That's crazy. It's like all the entertainment I'd ever want in my pocket, and it also plays Grand Theft Auto. That's insane. But yeah. I was Barry, Paul, and Joe, the lads. Here, 700 episodes in. You know, how you doing, lads? I got a million things to talk about here. Before we got so much. It's a lot of wrestling stuff to get to on this week's show. So let's do Life Guff first, because then we got wrestle to get into. I will say, boys, awkwardly timed. I shan't be here for All In discussions next week. You boys are gonna have to steer the ship for me. Off on the old bloody stag next week, aren't I? You know, I'm doing that whole thing. Now, here's the other thing, though. I know literally zero details about it. So maybe I'm going to Texas. I don't know. I could be there. I could be there cheering on the hangar. But I won't be available to podcast after it. So I'm going to have to leave it in your very capable hands. But other than that, not much life guff on my end. How has your life been? Joe, you've been all over the place from what I've seen from your socials. This lad's never surprised he's doing this show.
Oh, bloody hell. What a week, brother. What a week. So was off work Monday, Tuesday. Monday, Michelle and I were at the All England Lawn Tennis Association.
I love the first 2 syllables of that. I thought it was going to be very exciting for a second. You're at the All In what?
The All England Lawn Tennis Club, better known as Wimbledon.
Yes.
There for the first time I've ever been there. So we entered the ballot last year. So they still have a public ballot. So it's not like fucking Ticketmaster shit where you have to go in and get surge priced. They have a ballot. So you put your name in and then you get drawn out. And if you get a ticket, you get a ticket. You can buy it or you can say no. And then someone else gets the chance to buy it. So we ended up with 2 tickets to day 1 of the championships on court number 1, which is the second biggest court after centre court. So yeah, we're very excited. I've always kind of had a thought about, it'd be nice to go one day, and never really got around to it. But we were really excited. We went. It was brilliant. I didn't really know what it was like in there. It's kind of, you see it on TV, but you don't really know what to expect. But it was really fantastic. Great facilities. It's weird walking around because there are all these small tennis courts where you can you can literally just see in and watch them playing. It's like walking in the park and 2 people are playing on the tennis courts. Like you can literally stand there and watch them play. And then obviously the bigger courts, you need a ticket. But it was great. We got to see Sabalenka, who's the women's number 1, and also Emma Raducanu, the British player. So that was really good. Brilliant fun day overall. Can't say speak any higher of it, and we'll try and go again in future. Only downside was, of course, on Monday it was about 35 degrees. And of course, you are outside the whole time. You're either walking around in between the grounds or you're in the arena where there's no air conditioning. Obviously, it's outside, so it was buggering hot all day. So that was the only downside. But other than that, it was really, really good. So yeah, enjoyed it a lot. And then Tuesday, I was also off, and again, it was equally as hot. So we had sat in the living room all day with our air conditioner blowing. So that was it. I literally did not leave the room pretty much all day. So that was another great day. However, while I was at Wimbledon on Monday, I got a text from a friend of mine who said, and this friend is typical of him to sort of send me random texts. He just sent me a text saying, "Do you want to go 50 Cent on Thursday?"
It wasn't me. I would absolutely send you a message like that.
At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I was like, Michelle, are we doing anything? She was like, well, I'm going to a concert with Crony. She was like, well, if you're going out, I'm going to go out. So I went to...
For listeners, that is a person we know whose surname is Crone. Friend of the show, he's referenced often. It's not Joe going with one of the enemies from like the Batman games. Where's the freaking bat? Get him! It's the freaking town man. It's not that kind of crony.
No. Alex Crone. So I said, oh yeah, go on then. So I went... So Thursday night, I went to Tottenham in North London, which is where Tottenham Hotspur play. You may have deduced that.
That's why they call it that here.
Relatively new, really new, modern, impressive kind of stadium. And I'd never been there before, but we went in, and it's a great stadium, I have to say. I thought we weren't going to have good seats, but it's pretty much all good seats in there. especially for like a stadium setup. Like it was as good as you're going to get for a stadium. And it wasn't just 50 Cent, actually. Mary J. Blige was also part of it. So it's kind of like a double header type thing. She did like a 90-minute set, and then he came out and did the same, like 90-minute and an encore. So she was really good, and I like her obviously from back in the day. And then old 50 Cent came out, and I tell you what, he's a crowd pleaser. He didn't piss about. He didn't go, I'm going to do a couple of new ones.
Here's a new one, lads. I'm going to talk about a movie I'm executive producing.
Here's a new rap. I've just thought, no thanks, 50. That's all right. Keep that to yourself. He came out, he did Candy Shop. He did Wankster.
Yeah.
He did
Pimp.
PIMP.
In the club.
Yeah, so in the club was the big finale, of course. It was great. He just came out and did all the bangers. Everyone loved it. It was fucking
Bulletproof vest.
Brilliant. Is that a song, or do you mean
no? Was he wearing a bulletproof vest?
No, he wasn't. I don't think he's worried about that in London, to be fair.
Right,
That's no problem. Stab vest maybe, but not in Tottenham.
Too hot. Too hot to be wearing a bulletproof vest.
But he kind of did this dancing where basically, obviously, most singers doing a show, they've got, they're mic'd up. They're not holding a mic, but with a rapper, they're actually holding the microphone and sort of rapping into it. So he did this kind of dance move where he was just sort of, left hand on the mic, and then the right arm was just going sort of up, down, constantly. Yeah. He sort of did that the whole concert, so that was good. It was a lot of fun. And I also left just before the encore and managed to get on the train within about 7 minutes of leaving the stadium.
Okay,
so that was ideal. That was ideal.
I mean, if he had done some tracks off the new albums, I mean, there might have been more people on the stage than people who bought the albums. So it's probably
I don't even know without googling it. Obviously, I don't know when he even put out, because he pretty much seems to just tour and do the hits and B, like, produce things. And he's fully in Hollywood these days. I mean, he's in that fucking he's in that Street Fighter movie. He
was in Escape Plan, wasn't he?
Was he?
With Sylvester Stallone and Arnie, I think so. I think he was like a hacker in there or something.
Yeah, well, he's Balrog in the Street Fighter movie with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Yeah.
I'm just looking. His last album was 2014.
Wow,
that was the last proper album he put out.
Wow.
He did also do the theme song to the hit show Power, which I haven't seen.
Which he produces. I think that's one of his big successes.
Yeah. So apparently that everyone loved that. I didn't know what was going on, but that was good. And then, if that wasn't enough for the week, yesterday we were out again with the previously aforementioned Alex Crone to do Race Across London, which is the kind of live version of Race Across the World, the BBC travel.
Yeah, that you were doing prep for last week, right?
I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I was doing sort of prep for this. So, we met up at 11 a.m. in Liverpool Street Station in London to begin it. So it's all kind of done via WhatsApp. So it's basically a treasure hunt. It's branded as the show, but it's kind of like a typical like treasure hunt around the city where you have to follow clues, and you find like a statue that's got a plaque on it, and you have to find the year, and then that gives you another clue, and you have to find a church or something. It's kind of going all over the city, like finding these things. So it was absolutely tremendous. We all loved it. We're all we're very into quizzes and puzzles. We love our Only Connect and that kind of thing. And Crony's a big cryptic crossword guy, so that's why we got him on the team. We were like, right, get the Crone dog in because he'll be good at this. And it was a lot of fun, and we did very well. They don't know about, I don't know if they have an all-time leaderboard, but we did finish like 4th in our, I don't know if it's in the month or something, but we did very well. We were running, I mean, Crony, he was literally sprinting up the street. I mean, he does park run every week. And as soon as we were like, right, here's the clue, he just went, and I couldn't even see him. He was like legging it down the street. But we had a lot of fun, and my prep, I think, did help a little bit. It gave us a few clues, also a few red herrings, though, because the people that I was following were shit. So they had gone the wrong way when I followed them. So that actually didn't help at all. That was a complete waste of time. They went left. They should have gone right.
Right.
Fucking idiots. All right. I'm never going to follow them during a treasure hunt again. I'll tell you that for nothing. They wasted my time. But yeah, very, very good. And then we went for a little beer and a burger. And I'll be honest, once we got home about 4 or 5, we were so knackered from the day. We both had a little nap. We both just a little hour long nap, which I never normally do, but I was wiped from the all the excitement. So yeah,
nice.
I recommend that. They have many more in London that we might look at doing. They also have one in Dublin. I don't know if you guys ever want, if you fancy a little treasure hunt, they do have one over there as well. So yeah, very, very good. Can't recommend it highly enough.
Sounds good.
Good.
What about you, Paul? Any treasure hunts?
There was actually.
Go on.
So I'm not in the market myself, but my brother's been keeping an eye out on the stock levels in the various shops for the Nintendo Switch 2.
Oh yeah.
And so, I'm not in a rush. You people, you guys and people who listen will know, I'm not exactly someone who rushes to play video games day one. I'm happy to catch it a month or 2 or 3 down the line. I'll get around to it probably eventually, but I don't need to be in the conversation. I'll play whatever I want, whenever I want. I'll get around to it. So I'm not really rushing to get a Switch 2. There's only one game out for it, as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we'll talk about later because I have now played it. But there were Switch 2s in stock and the clock was ticking and the number, every time you refreshed the page, the number was slightly lower. So I was working, but it was quiet. I said, jump in the car. Let's zip over to Blanchardstown, which is a shopping center like 20 minutes from here. So we jump in the car, down the road. We don't speed because we're very good. I'm a very good driver and very careful. So I was saying to him,
if you're listening.
Yeah. I was saying, how many are left? Unfortunately, the route we took is one that goes by, when there's a level crossing where the train tracks cross over the road. So we arrived just as the fence was coming down. And we were like the second car behind. So we said, okay, we'll wait 5 minutes. The train still hasn't arrived yet. Then it finally goes by and we're looking, it's one of these ones where you can see, it's quite old fashioned. You can see the man up in the tower with the big wheel that he turns around to make the fence go up and down. And the train's gone now. And we're looking, where's Mr. Fenceman? Where's Mr. He's not coming back. Turns out another train was coming in 5 minutes. So we're waiting for 5 more minutes, then the train. So it's probably about 12 minutes at this crossing. And I'm freaking. I'm going, how many fucking switches are left? Do they still have them? I'm gonna run up and grab the wheel myself. But anyway, we eventually get there. I drop him off at the front.
The fella in the tower had his eye on a switch. Is that the thing? He's going, right, block the road. I'm gonna go find a switch.
Possibly. I drop the brother off at the front of Smith's. I say, you jump in and get it, and I'll park the car, and I'll come in after you. So I park the car, jump out. I'm probably in Smith's for a minute. There was no queue, so he's already at the front buying the Switch. They did. I had 6 left when we arrived, so he did get one. I say, okay, let's go home. I'll get back to work. Hopefully no one will have noticed I'm gone. Jump into the car, turn the key. Jig, 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 jig.
Oh no.
Jig, 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 jig. Car won't start. I'm like, ah. So luckily I
came right then and there, was it? What?
Came with enough force to push the car all the way home.
How it's moving, wow.
Luckily I bring my jumper cables just in case. They always in the boot of my car. Yeah, so there was a fella parked next to us and I said, hello friend, I'm parked here, you're parked here, and we're not going anywhere doing it. Fancy helping me jumpstart my car. He was a Brazilian guy. He was luckily lovely, but his battery was really awkwardly placed in his car. So, when you pull up the bonnet or the hood for our American listeners, you pull up the bonnet of the car and you can see the engine, right? His battery's right at the back where it's like half still covered. Now, to jumpstart a car, you need access to both the positive and negative areas of the battery. We couldn't quite reach the negative one. So I tried to get it on. I guess it wasn't on properly. It didn't work. We couldn't jumpstart the car. So I'm thinking, okay, fuck, I'm going to have to get the bus home, leave the car here, come back for it later. So we went to go to see what time the buses were at. There was one in like 20 minutes. Okay, whatever. I said, okay. And then we're waiting around 10 minutes until the bus. I said, let's go back and try the car one more time. Because sometimes, you leave it, you come back, hey, it works suddenly. Go back, No, it does not work. Now, luckily, another fella who had kind of been watching when we were trying to jumpstart the car the first time, he came over, knocked on the window and said, do you want to try one more time with my car? Jump out again, jumper cables on. Hey, it comes back to life. And we drive home. So this is a few times now that I've driven my car somewhere, been out of the car for like 60 seconds, and it won't start up. So the next morning, I flew up to the garage, and I said, I think I might need a new battery. And the fella in the garage says, yep, new battery, no problem. Yeah, that'll be whatever, how much. I say, well, do you want me to explain to you kind of what this...
He didn't check.
No, I said, can I tell you what the Sims are? No, don't worry. You need a new battery. It's fine. I said, well, I actually started...
whatever it is.
Exactly. So I started saying to him, well, I've been driving to here and it kind of won't start. He just starts talking over me. Yeah, no problem.
You haven't even told him it's a car at this point. Anything. Could be a bus, could be a bike, could be a bike.
Anyway, so long story short, I did pick up the car later that day. 120 bones for a new battery and also a new bulb, which I needed, and the labour of fixing it. I will say, though...
That's how they get you.
I will say, though, it 100% needed a new battery. I can tell driving since it's been replaced. It now works, and I'm fully confident in it. But like, that's twice, because there was one time earlier, I don't remember if I talked about it on here. I went out to Tesco, which is in Maynooth, which is kind of one town. I mean, it's 6 or 7 kilometers from here. Parked in the garage. It's one of these big 24-hour Tescos, so big parking spaces. Stopped in there for 1 second, jumped out, grabbed something, jumped back in the car. I was literally out of the car 60 seconds. Wouldn't start. So I had to like get the bus home, drive out later with my dad, and then the car just started that time. But like it's having a car is a bit pointless that when you don't have confidence that it's going to start when you on your way back from your destination. I was thinking like, I'm going to just have to drive somewhere and just leave the car running the whole time, which is a little dangerous. But no, it's fixed now. So hopefully, the amount of money I'm pumping into it, I'm hoping it won't need any more major repairs for a little while. But we did get the Switch too. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. We can talk about my Mario Kart World impressions and also Donkey Kong Bonanza thoughts now that, and this might be of interest to Joe, it's been confirmed that game is being developed by the Super Mario Odyssey team. So it is, in a sense, a spiritual sequel of sorts. But we will see.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we want to get onto then the wrestling news? And maybe we do the all-in preview after the TV. Would that make more sense?
I think so. I think that makes the most sense because they added a lot on TV this week. On the wrestling news stuff here, this is a funny story. Daniels went on the Chris Van Vliet podcast this week, and I feel like this story is a real deal confirmation that he's actually retired because he was Secrets of Wrestling revealed here on the Van Vliet.
There were multiple reveals. He talked about that he was Curry Man finally.
Well, I actually didn't even see that he revealed that. That's outrageous. Daniels, come on, leave some of it to the imagination, please. He really must be done with that said. But he talked about this kind of gimmick he's had for the last or not for the last couple of years, but sort of towards the end of his career there, where he had the red eye, the very odd looking thing in his eye, which they didn't draw too much attention to. It was one of those things where he just kind of had it, and you could see it when he was on TV, but they never drew too much attention to it. So he talked about how he legitimately had a horribly bloodshot eye after the SCU breakup match with the Bucks, where that was the match where he bled, and that was kind of his initial kind of write-off for quite a while from TV. And he's like, oh, that's kind of fucking cool and nasty looking. So like 2 days later, he wakes up and it's gone. It's just like healed or whatever. So he spoke to Abaddon, who was still with the company at the time, and was like, hey, and they had contacts, and he was like, do you have a guy who does those contacts? And it turns out that's exactly the case. There was a designated guy who's like special effects contacts. And he goes to him, he's like, I just want it to look like I have a brain hemorrhage. I want it just like grotesque black and red eye. And so he got a load of contacts made up. He put them in, and for the longest time, he just put them in, and it was just a little continuity thing where he's like, that match that ended my team and kind of partially ended his career for a long while, up until they did the Hangman stuff. He was passing it off as real, one of those little, very rare these days, but an old school wrestler doing a wrestling thing. Going, oh yeah, no, they fucked me up in that last match. That's why I don't wrestle as much anymore. But it was all an illusion. I didn't see the Curry Man thing. That's outrageous. But I like that he went to the trouble of doing that just to amuse himself and have something be a little bit real in the eyes of the fans. Eyes pun not intended.
Yeah, he talked about going on like the Jericho cruise and having it on all day as well. Which
that must have been a bastard.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I've never done it once in my life. I don't think I ever. There's a couple of times for Halloween where I've thought, I should get some like contacts for this. I despise the concept of contacts. It's like, I'm lucky that I don't need glasses, because obviously I'd have to get over that. But anytime I've thought of getting them, like he did, for a laugh, for a bit, I'm like, or I could just not put things in my eyes. I think I'm going to go with that one. So I don't know how people do that. God bless the short-sighted. Because the concept of context just freaks me out. But yeah, that was a cute story. Van Vliet's got a lot of good interviews lately. The other big story from the week was we had the Britt Baker update / I guess when it was all said and done, this ended up kind of not being really an update, I suppose. Yeah. Or maybe some people might interpret that as maybe a little bit of damage control. I don't know. A couple of outlets were saying that she was looking to get out of her deal and she wanted to leave and felt like the division had moved on without her. There was also a lot of people, I think, reading into perhaps too much into her social media posts. Something about like she shared a post about a bottle of water, and it's like, in the shop it's $1, but in the hotel minibar it's $6. So, and it was kind of like, know your worth. And I was like, yeah, but she's a wrestler. They'll fucking share that inspirational shit all fucking day, every day. That's not her saying, I'm going to go to WWE and I'll be a $6 bottle of water there. I think that's just motivational crap that people post on Instagram. Although I did think it was funny that my shooter, Queen Aminata, then posted a picture of a hotel bottle of water. I was like, Jesus, stop scrapping everyone. She's just like, that was good. So people were reading into that stuff, and a couple of outlets were like, yeah, no, she seems to be getting out. And then Fightful came out and said she has a long time left on her deal, and the potential of injury time to go on there as well. So you could say, oh, it's a non-story, some people, bad sources, or reading too much into social media. That could also be, though, that could be AEW reaching out to Fight and saying, oh, no, she's not going anywhere. She's, I think actually it could be two things are true. She might want to leave, and they might be towing the line publicly and saying, well, just to be clear, because they kowtowed on a couple, right? Miro and Tommy End, he always get his fucking names mixed up. They were like, all right, they'll be annoying somewhere else. Sick of listening to you. But I feel like after those high profile ones, maybe AEW is going to go back a little bit to, look, you are signed for X amount of time. That has to mean something. So I don't know. What do you boys make of this? Do you think it's a storm in a teacup, or do you think there's maybe some truth to... I mean, I don't know where she fits in this company anymore. I mean, for both her and the company, I was like, the next opportunity for her to go, I would say it's very reasonable for her to just go.
She was never a very good wrestler, to be quite honest. Although she's had two of the better matches in AEW women's history.
Fair, yeah.
The St. Patrick's Day Slam, Lights Out, and the cage match with Thunder Rosa. She doesn't really, she doesn't fit in. She feels very much like old AEW. Mm-hmm. She's like pre-COVID AEW. Right. And all due respect, because I've always liked her as a character, as a sort of character, as a personality, as just a presence on the show. But yeah, she doesn't fit in really. And also, she doesn't seem to ever want to do any jobs. I think was the problem, wasn't it? I
don't know if it was. I mean, maybe there was a bit of that, but there was also. I was reading. There was I saw someone on one of the Reddit threads, not on Squared Circle because that place is hell on earth, one of the smaller Reddits that I kind of read for like wrestling news. Someone was like, what's the deal with her? And someone recapped the various. I mean, she's had a lot of problems with a lot of people. There's the whole Thunder Rosa thing. Obviously, that was very messy. That got quite public, and Thunder Rosa certainly, has made it very obvious that she was deeply unhappy for a long period there. I actually forgot until this person was read. There was the whole MJF thing. The whole MJF's fiance, basically saying that Baker was reading him and Ospreay for filth for going so long, and they had a blow up about it. There was there's still no real details on it, but there was the Fightful note that she and Hayter don't speak anymore. So that's why there's been zero follow up on them as a unit since Hayter came back. They don't want to work together anymore. So it's like, those are the ones we know of, Right. So certainly feels like on top of the other issues, such as just feeling like the division moved past her, it just doesn't seem like there's a huge... Oh, there was the Deeb thing. Of course, her last televised appearance. That was real. That was real. I want out of my contract behavior.
I was going to say, that to me is the worst of those, where you let it bleed into the television. Because whatever happens backstage, like that's to be done, and taken care of privately. When it's on TV... That to me is a whole other level. And I mean, I don't know whether she was fucking shooting or fucking working, but like either way, doing the no one cares, nobody cares, and I think having a total like strop and tantrum on TV, like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do with her, because she's a bigger than life personality. She's got the whole thing down, apart from the in ring, as we kind of touched on, which she's not like horrible, but she's like, as we said,
no, yeah, she was a
little behind. She's a little behind now.
She reminded me a little bit of the point people always make about like your natties at Al and WWE is like they were good when the division was very weak. Then when the division came on leaps and bounds, she was a little bit left behind. If you're talking purely bell to bell, but it's American TV wrestling, so other things matter. You're not purely bell to bell. I mean, you'd rank her fairly low. And even her character stuff I thought was good initially. She did that kind of like, her heel character was almost like a disingenuous face that was very good.
Yeah.
But as the years have started ticking by, I'm kind of like, hey, I can't, there hasn't been too many super memorable promos from her. I just think, I think it's just, I think they've outgrown each other. The promotion and she have just outgrown each other. I mean, that's.
I would be concerned where she would even fit into a WWE, for similar reasons.
Yeah.
Whereas Mariah May is all upside to me, and I think is a great signing. Britt Baker, there's kind of that CM Punk question to it of, okay, CM Punk has been well behaved. He's been a good little doggy for WWE. Putting his lead on and being walked over to Saudi Arabia. Very well behaved. I mean, is Britt Baker going to fit in with a Charlotte and the like? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, WWE already has one of them, and it probably doesn't want to. But
And as we were just kind of saying about everything we're saying about the AEW division, I think you could say the exact same for both NXT and main roster as well.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, she wouldn't rank if she was to jump tomorrow, she wouldn't be in the top 10 workers there. She certainly wouldn't be in the top 10 like promos or anything. Again, it was kind of like, there was a dearth of interesting characters in the early days of AEW, and she excelled and she kind of stood out a little bit, but like, would she stand out against not even just your Beckys and your Charlottes or your kind of your elder statesmen, but even people on the come up, like, your Lyra Valkyria, half the people in NXT. Mariah May, like a perfectly good example. Like, who would you invest more stock in if you were a promoter? I think it's
one last point is, we know that there's a double standard between the men and women, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying this completely factually, knowing that that's an approach that, for better or worse, worse, to be honest, that WWE have, is that, if, let's say that AEW don't let Baker out of her contract early, until, let's say, next year, right? Yeah. She's already 35. Is that something that's going to work against her in terms of bringing her into like an NXT maybe? When their thing lately seems to be hiring people super young.
Yeah.
Unless like
absolutely.
a Cody or a Penta or whatever, that's one thing. But like a lot of the signings lately, your Starks. Well, Starks is actually on the older side, of course. But like a lot of people at NXT, Javon Evans, etc., are quite young. You know, so I don't know. I don't know if that would work against this one.
And again, but even like the other thing, you have to consider guys like Starks and Ethan Page. I mean,
but they also have friends in big places. They also have friends in big places, but even, and she may not, as it were, but like it's also a case where it's like they may just be resigned to a life as a good hand in NXT. You know what I mean? Yes.
And as someone in Baker who has like main evented shows and has been to the mountaintop, for lack of a better term, that might not be super appealing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And her health issues as well, notwithstanding.
Of course, yeah. And I do think, unfortunately, she had that big match with Mercedes that was not very good. And, Mercedes been on a hell of a run. And that match was a little bit of a, okay, this is always the way with wrestlers, is just like sometimes an injury is bad and you can be cleared to return, but you're never quite the same, and it did feel kind of like she was like a step off in her limited appearances so far, which is a shame, and that's out of her control. But yeah, interesting one to watch develop. It seems like certainly there's not going to be any movement there for a while, because it seems like the company line on this is that she has a lot of time left and there's not going to be a budging on that.
It is interesting that the Britt Baker wind down, timeline wise, corresponds almost exactly proportionately to Toni Storm's growth as well.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Toni Storm is what, because Britt was one of the, especially during the COVID times when they,
I'm thinking like All In 23 was kind of a crossing point, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it's like Britt was like one of the people with the men on the marketing material back in the early days. Do you know what I mean? She was the female pillar unofficially. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's Toni now. Toni's on everything. Toni is front and center. They push her at everything. She does their media. Like it's. I do think that's an interesting point.
Toni is top 5 in the company of either gender.
Yes, absolutely. She is on that tier. But yeah, interesting story. We'll watch that develop over the next few months, I'm sure. Segueing over to our other features for the week. Do you have an email before we jump into the fantasy league?
We do. Email is from LinkedIn. You appeared in 8 searches.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for that. No, email is from Richard Ross. You one big motherfucker, which I got to say every time.
That was great.
Subject, Barry, don't pop too loud for this. Subject, Letterland.
Oh, hell yeah.
The message opens with, finally, Letterland discussion. And there's breaking news here that I was not aware of. Can you believe they changed Hairy Hatman to Harry Hatman?
Wait, hang on now.
That's apparently a thing they did. The letter H, to the best of my memory, was represented by Hairy Hatman.
Now, this was not a man who was hairy. I believe his hat was hairy. Am I remembering that correctly?
The character design. Did he have a beard? I don't remember.
Oh my God, this is like a Mandela effect, because I Googled it and it just says Harry Hatman, and there's none of the original images of what is happening. Nothing is real. Hang on. Okay, hang on. I got the original image. Okay, this is so small.
Hatman's house
book from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the image is so fucking small. It's like watching SpongeBob on a Game Boy Advance. Hang on. Yeah, it's very hard to make out. If they de-hair... Wait, hey, here's another one. Yes, yeah. Okay, so he looks a little bit like Alex Crone, actually.
Crone.
Yeah. I'll DM I gotta find a decent sized picture I found.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What a change. I wonder what that is. I wonder because it's like we can't promote having a beard to children. It's unseemly. Also, there's 2 dancing hedgehogs in this little image. It's quite cute.
That's good. That's nice. Hairy Hatman.
Yeah.
And the barefoot That's quite
bare feet as well. It
choice.
should be hippie hat man. He's got his dancing hedgehogs. He hasn't shaved his bare feet.
I don't want to get into, he's very Irish coded. I would be a little concerned about that.
Is it an Irish book or is it a British book? Actually,
I thought it was
Letter
British.
Google this. It was way too much time talking about this fucking book. Letterland was created to teach. Yeah, but where? Okay. Oh, they have a website, letterland.com. Sorry, go on with Richard's email.
With the email, yes. What is it with substituting in Harry? Well, we don't know, clearly. For some reason in December, our PE lessons in Ayrshire would change to Scottish county dancing. And there was a dance called Gay Gordons, which some teachers would instead call Happy Harrys.
But that's just political correctness.
Yeah, it's gone pretty mad.
Yeah.
And W now is woke Wally.
That's why I vote
Fianna
every election.
Oh dear! Celebrating 50 years. Oh, this is a very old website because this is from 2018. Was their 50th anniversary? What country are you from, brother? Oh, okay. Lynn Wendon develops Letterland. That sounds like English.
Oh, that's English. That's English. Or British.
UK schools adopt Letterland. This is a British invention. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Anyway, Richard goes on. Change his name to be less creepy, I guess. I don't know. Harry Hatman's not that creepy, is it? Although, I mean, maybe you want to avoid the.
I don't think the hairy part is the creepy part.
But maybe thinking about it in terms of what do you want to like? It could be. I mean, I'm sure like people who like work on like teaching kids at a very early developmental age, it could genuinely be something like we don't want to do things like they describe people as hairy. You don't want to teach children that you go, oh look, mother, it's a hairy person. It's like, okay, son, don't point now. I know you learned it in your book, but
there's ugly Ursula.
Oh, from your book, yeah, you for ugly, yeah. Oh, there's unhappy Undertaker. He's been asked to do another
3 minutes.
He's been asked to do another public appearance, and despite costing 30 grand, he's come up in the trackies again.
Change his name to be less creepy, I guess, but still have a book called Harry Hatman and His Habit, a deeply troubling one at that. There you go, Richard. Letterland discussion at last, and probably we will never talk about Letterland ever again. So,
knowing this podcast, we will probably talk about it every week for the next 10 years and be the only people talking about it.
Okay, well, look forward to the Letterland quiz next week.
And then in a few years, I'll go, when did we start referencing Letterland every week on this show? I don't know.
Get that notebook LM open. Quick.
Thank you, Richard, as always, for the email.
Yeah. Okay, in terms of the fantasy update, then I do want to give listeners a klaxon here, is that there was an amendment since we last spoke. So Joe had traded Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly out for MJF and Cash Wheeler.
Yeah.
The day later, it did come out that Orange Cassidy is unlikely to return anytime soon with this pec issue. And so we did say, in the rules of the AEW Fantasy League, that officially trades and transfers can be made up until the day the television airs. So Joe did change his pick. He's retaining Kyle O'Reilly and he's trading out instead Orange Cassidy, who, unless the news, Fightful, I mean, Fightful typically not the kind of source that would be worked in that way. The likelihood is that Orange Cassidy might not be back even by the end of the year, the way things are looking. So that trade has happened. Joe then immediately gets 24 points the first week after his trades, with MJF and both of FTR picking up wins. So, I mean, the FTR having both of them, I think not necessarily a bad strategy.
Yeah, good.
Any tag team win they have, and they're the most winningest tag team in AEW history, as you know, you're getting an 8-pointer. Which is pretty tasty. Joe scored a 24 across both TV shows, a 16 for me, and only a 12 for Barry. So Joe is flying this week. MJF, of course, picking up a win. As we said, Mercedes Moné with a title defense. Mark Briscoe with a rare victory. FTR with a win, and Megan Bain with a 4-person tag team win. We only got 2 points, but still victories across the board. Everyone on my team who wrestled won this week. Swerve Strickland, Konosuke Takeshita, Kazuchika Okada, which was unfortunately not a title match. So only 4 points there. And Hologram as well, who I just traded in for Pac. And then for Barry, we had Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, Willow getting a rare win as well.
A rare win, I noticed, yeah.
And a rare defeat for Shelton Benjamin. Might be his first defeat since he came in. And Bandito also defeated on Dynamite, so no points for Barry's recently traded in, folks. We do have Tony Storm and Will Ospreay both on 99 and 96 points respectively. So unless they wrestle on the upcoming TV, one or both of them going to pass the 100-point mark at All In, so they'll be the first to do so. Otherwise, not too much else to report. Barry, you do, of course, still have 1 July free transfer if you do choose to use that at any point throughout the month.
Yeah, I will. Keeping an eye.
Yeah, keep an eye. So that's the Fantasy League update. Have we a quiz?
We got a little quiz. We've got GIMME 5.
Nice.
Returning. So this is the much beloved quiz. Where I give the lads a topic and they have to give me 5 answers in that topic. The person that goes first gets 1 point per correct answer and then 5 bonus points if they get all 5.
Yeah.
The other competitor goes second, and therefore doesn't get the easy answers and gets 2 points per correct answer plus 5 bonus points. So if you go first, you can get 10. If you go second, you get 15. They get 2 rounds each.
Yeah.
And then for the 5th and final round, whoever's losing gets to choose whether to gamble and goes first or second, depending on how many points behind. It's that simple. So let's go straight in. We have, of course, as it's All In week officially, we are going to have an All In themed GIMME 5.
Okay.
So let me just write down the lads' names here so I can keep score. I will inevitably lose count because, as we've established, my brain is atrophied to the point of no return.
That's harsh.
Well, let me just find. I do have my little Paddington coin here.
Oh, lovely.
I've tidied up the desk and I've moved it. It's in a little special little container now, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna let. Let's see. I'm gonna let Paul call. Do you want Paddington Bear or Queen Elizabeth II?
The one I don't hate, Paddington, please.
Paddington. Oh, dropped the coin up, picked it back up, and oh no, it's her Madge. So Barry goes first.
I'll go first.
I'll just put the coin away. There we go. You can hear that. The official coin holder. Okay, so Barry, you can choose. Do you want 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Let me go 2.
2. Okay, so your subject is All In 2024.
Okay.
So I want you to name 5 matches from All In 2024, including the pre-show. And I will need all of the participants in the match, unless it's a battle royal, in which case you can just give me the name of the battle royal.
Okay.
Need all of them. When you're ready. All In 2024. Last year's All In.
24. Last year's one. Okay. Darby versus Jack Perry.
That is correct for 1 point.
The aforementioned Brittany Baker versus Mercedes Moné.
That is correct for 2 points.
Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson.
That is also correct for a 3rd point.
The Casino Battle Royale.
That is correct.
Well,
Not really a battle royale.
The Casino Gauntlet thing, the staggered entrance Rumble Nigel McGuinness match. You know what the
we know
match
what
is.
he means. We know what he means.
Stupid name.
I'm just being specific. That's all.
So
specific on your own turn, please. And Tony Storm versus Blake Monroe.
That is correct for 5 points plus your 5 bonus points. So that is 10 to Barry.
Okay.
Over to you, Paul. Can you give me 5 more matches?
So just confirm, he had Danielson Swerve.
Yeah.
Mercedes, Britt Baker, Jack Perry Derby.
Yeah.
The Battle Royale / Gauntlet. And Monroe against Storm.
Yeah.
Okay. I will go for the match that I took the piss break during. Hook versus Chris Jericho in a cricket bat match.
Oh, God.
Whole match. That is correct for 1 point.
We had Ospreay MJF for the American Championship.
That is correct.
We were there in person, so no excuse for not knowing this.
That's 2, only 3 more.
We had the ladder match that opened, the Blackpool Combat Club, House of Black, Bang Bang Gang, and Patriarchy.
Wow.
I'm going to accept the team names, yes.
Okay.
I need all of them. That will be fine.
I could probably give you the members if you needed them. But...
I'll be honest. It'll take too long. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, please, I can give you more.
Who is in the House of Black?
So that's 3. We need 2 more.
Okay, fuck. Tag team titles was Young Bucks, FTR, and Acclaimed.
That's correct. That's
in a
4.
3-way.
Can you give me 5?
What was on the pre-show? There was 2 matches with about 100 people in them. That I would struggle to. I don't know how we would go around that. It's like enough people for a battle royal, but not quite a battle royal. There was Ishii and Willow against Statlander and Stokely.
That is correct.
Oh, wow.
That is your 5th answer, Paul. So you get 15 big ones in the first round there. Well done.
I will tell you, being there in person helps a lot because I would not remember that pre-show otherwise.
Yeah. I'll give you the ones we missed. So there's 2 we missed, which were the Sons of Texas, which is Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
Spot the odd one out there. And Katsuyori Shibata. Again, spot the odd one out there. Sammy Guevara, not a proper Texan. And they defeated it says here Cage of Agony. Is that their name?
That was Brian Cage with them.
Oh, with the Games of Agony, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So Bishop Khan, Brian Cage, Tony Leona, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. And then the other one, oh God, here we go. Action Andretti, Kip Sabian, Kyle Fletcher, Leo Rush, Rocky Romero, Tommy Billington, and Top Flight with Don Callis defeated Arya Davari, Anthony Ogogo, the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, Jay Lethal, Private Party, and Satnam Singh.
Jesus, Murderer's Row.
With Evil Uno and Sanjay Dutt. Still there.
I saw Anthony Ogogo after the show walking through London, so I don't remember if I talked about it.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, that's how that is.
Still from...
He was doing the Taz, was it?
Yeah.
So I was trying not to be seen, as if anyone would recognise him.
Tell John's over here. Okay, Paul, your turn to go first. So do you want 1, 3, or 4?
I'll go for number 1, please.
Good choice. You have gone for All In 2023.
Oh.
So again, I need 5 matches from the Wembley 2023 All In.
Give me MJF Adam Cole. World Championship.
That is correct.
Give me Better Than You Baby against Aussie Open. Ring of Honor tag team titles.
Also correct.
I'll take where do I go next? Stadium Stampede match.
Oh, do I accept that without giving me all the people in there?
Yeah, you can do that. That's there's like 10 people in that.
Can you tell me who the teams were? You don't have to give me every single person.
It was like Eddie Kingston was with Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. And Penta, and they were against Blackpool Combat Club and Pride and Powerful.
Yes, that is correct. I'll give you that word on Paul. That's 3.
Because I also saw Santana after that show.
What was he doing?
walking around London afterwards.
How
many matches is that?
That's 3. You need 2 more.
Well, give me the 2 matches the show is best remembered for. Give me Hook, Jack Perry, and CM Punk, Samoa Joe.
And that is correct for the full 5. So you get another 10 points there, Paul.
Oh dear, I'm going to struggle
25. Here. Can you give me 5, Barry?
Okay, I'll do my best. Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho.
That's correct. 1 point.
FTR versus the Young Bucks.
That is also correct. 2 points.
Darby and Sting versus Christian and Swerve.
3 points.
That's kind of all I got. The women's title match was Saraya, Hikaru Shida, Toni Storm, and Britt.
That is correct for 4 points.
Hey, one more. Fuck.
Need one more.
Oh, God, I'm terrible at these. Oh God, I'm racking my brain here. What titles have I not done? What was the fucking? I can't remember. There was a 6-man, but I can't remember who the fuck was in it. It was the Don Callis family, but okay. No, I'm not going to do that one because I genuinely don't know enough of the people in it. I'll just take a complete. No, I'm not going to do it. Oh God, fuck! I'll just take a guess. Okay, Takeshita and Archer and Cage versus Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, and who was the other one? Oh God, who's the other? I think that's already wrong anyway. And Hangman. That's not right, but
Well, I'll tell you, Barry, you're wrong, but you were close. So it was the Golden Elite. It was Hangman, Kenny, and Kota Ibushi versus Takeshita, Jay Wyatt, and Juice Robinson.
Yeah, I never would have done that. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so you got 4 right there, so that's 8 points. So it's 25-18. So we missed. The only other one was the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn.
Oh yeah,
against the House of Black.
House of Black, of course. Yeah.
So that was the semi main event. I mean, you don't remember that one?
Wee break, yeah.
Yeah, little break. Okay, so we got 2 more. So Paul went first that time. So Barry, you're first on the next one. Do you want 3 or 4?
3.
Okay, 3. So this is, all in theme. So this is Derby All In singles opponents pay-per-view. Derby All In.
Yeah,
okay.
No, it works. It's cryptic.
So anyone Derby All In has faced on an AEW pay-per-view, excluding Battle Royals or Battle Royal ladder match type situations. So we're talking 1-on-1, triple threat, 4 ways.
Okay. So you're just looking for the individuals, not the specific matches, I assume, because there's some
just an individual.
Samuel Guevara.
That is correct.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
That is also correct. 2 points.
Jack Perry.
That is correct. 3 points.
Matt Jackson.
In a singles match?
We're not including tags?
Singles, 1-on-1.
Wait, except this is a 3 or a 4. This is a 3 or a 4-way.
Singles matches, Barry.
All right, fine.
Just keep saying it.
Them singles tag matches,
Yeah. Fuck. God, Brody King? I don't think that's right.
That is correct. That's 4. So unfortunately missed out on the bonus there. You do get 4 points. That takes you up to 22.
Okay.
So, Paul, can you give me 5 Darby Allin singles opponents?
Who?
Darby Allin singles.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Darby Allin. That's right. Well, he. Can you just give me Barry's again 1 second, so I can know.
He got Brody King,
Matt Jackson,
Jack Perry, MJF, and Sammy Guevara.
MJF Guevara. Okay. How the fuck do you spell Guevara? Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm gonna go for lovely little main event pay-per-view. Christian Cage.
That is correct. It's 2 points.
That was 2 out of 3 falls, by the way. I will say CM Punk in Punk's original pay-per-view showing.
Also correct. It's 2
yeah, it was quite I got 2 quite notable ones so far. Who else did he have on pay-per-view?
Nick Jackson.
Oh God, I feel like Barry's got quite a lot of the recent ones. Brody King was the one that I had in the barrel, and then Barry beat me to the punch. Now I'm going to have to go back to like the early days. Would Darby have had a world title match early on? Or on one of the very first like AEW shows, maybe? No, I'm already out of fucking fumes here. I
guess it's
how many have I've only got 2, have I?
You've got 2. You can have 3 guesses.
I'll throw out a few guesses here. I'll say Darby early on would have wrestled. He did wrestle Cody. So that's one.
Okay, yeah.
And he would have wrestled Darby against. I'll throw Mox. Did he wrestle Mox on any pay-per-views?
No, he didn't.
No. Darby Allin against Malachi.
No, that is incorrect. So you score 3 there. That is 6 points for you, Paul. Takes you to 31. So we're missing before the Christian Cage match, there was a Luchasaurus match. All Out.
Yeah.
Kyle O'Reilly.
I don't remember that at all.
Remember that one? Kyle O'Reilly actually won. I think it was one of Kyle O'Reilly's first matches.
Okay.
That should be him. And then the other 2, we're going way, way back to one of the very first pay-per-views. Darby had a 3-way with Jimmy Havoc and Joey Janela.
Like that's from the old memory banks, thank Christ.
We all forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Those 2 lovely lads. So that's currently Paul on 31, Barry on 22, going into the fourth one. So it could still change.
Yeah.
So it is Paul's turn to go.
Yeah. I go first. Yeah.
Okay, so this, as you may know,
do not say 20. Do not say all in 2018, please. Go on.
No, I'm going to say even worse. So as you know, all in 2025 is taking place at Globe Life Field in Texas, which is a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Can you please name for me 5? Give me name of the quiz. Give me 5. Can you give me 5 World Series winning baseball teams?
And
I will note here. You know, American teams have franchises and they move around. I'll accept any variant of the franchise,
okay,
of course, if you want to give me one. So I need 5 World Series winning teams from you, Paul.
Okay, we're really scraping the barrel here with the American sport knowledge. Give me the New York Yankees, please.
Boom, 1 point. You Yankees.
Give me the Red Sox. That was a bit in lost where they won. That's why I know that one.
Yep, the old Boston Red Soxies. Yeah,
the Red Soxies. Might as well try the White Sox while I'm there.
That is correct. The old Chicago White Sox, who the current Pope is a supporter of, I believe.
Oh, very nice. Oh, Pope Leo. Can I try the 49ers? I don't know if they play that sport, but I'll try it.
The 49ers, I believe they are a football team, not proper football.
Okay, and
so, miss on that one. One more.
Let me round third base and hit fourth with another name, not sports team. I was going to like jokingly just say like the Miami Heat, but let me actually try a baseball team. Who else would be a baseball team? We got the Sox, we got the Yankees, we got the Ravens. No, that's a football team as well. The Baltimore Ravens is a football team. Baseball.
American pastime, they calls it.
Yeah. What else is a baseball team?
What?
What else?
Who else
is a baseball team? The Springfield Astros, please. What were they called? Springfield?
No, whatever they were. Isotopes. No,
Isotopes. That's
so you score just the 3 points there.
Yeah.
That one's that's 34. So Barry, you could.
I know a couple more, but I have no clue if they've ever won. So this is like I do know some teams. The Cubs.
I need the city as well, Barry.
Oh, sorry. You said they move around though. Whatever. Chicago.
Yeah, but they haven't moved. They're only in Chicago. Yeah, Chicago Cubs for 2 points. There you go.
Have you seen those freaking Mets? The New York Mets. They suck. Oh, the Mets.
Your fucking Mets. That's another one. Correct.
Very good.
The Atlanta Falcons. That's not a guess. That's just a joke. That's just a reference.
That's fine.
Goldberg played for them, I believe.
Yeah. The Braves. Atlanta.
That is correct.
Wow.
He's got 3. Formerly in Boston and Milwaukee. So fuck me.
Okay.
Can you do a 4th?
I feel like there's an obvious one I'm missing. That Cole also missed. Who's the fucking? Well, I'm not asking because you're not going to tell me. Have we had? I don't think we've had any West Coast teams. Do they not play baseball on the West Coast? Who's the LA team? The LA. I actually feel like I know it. But why aren't I saying it? Do I know it? The Dodgers?
The LA Dodgers, you say?
That doesn't sound right when you say it back to me, but yes.
That is correct for 4.
Okay.
Right.
And
can you know the Full Hog?
And who do they play for? The New Jersey Full Hogs, is it? This might be a hockey team. I'm going to say it anyway. The Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns. I think that's a football team. I think it's a football team. But you did very well there, Barry. That's 4 correct answers. That's 8 points, which brings you up to 30. So that's 34 to 30. So that is next running for the 5th. I'll give you the rest just quickly. In fact, when I look through the list, basically nearly every baseball team has won the World Series at some point. There's only 5 of them that haven't. That must be really shit. We got the St. Louis Cardinals, the Oakland Athletics, the San Francisco Giants.
Obvious one.
The Cincinnati Reds, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Detroit Tigers, the Baltimore Orioles, the Washington Senators, Minnesota Twins. I don't know which one, but one.
Senators is such a lame name sports team.
The Philadelphia Phillies, Cleveland Indians, now called Guardians. Houston Astros.
Look, it's the Springfield Astros, idiot.
Paul, do you want to make a bit more fucking noise in the back? Jesus Christ. the Kansas City Royals, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Miami Marlins, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Washington Nationals.
Okay, some of those I had heard of, yeah, but
some of those sound made up. I've never heard of the Los Angeles Angels. So
whatever.
So that means that, Paul, you are in the lead. So Barry, you get to choose on the fifth and final round. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
You can play it safe and go first, okay? So let's see. So you're 4 points behind. So we need all 5 here to try and secure it. So the topic is All In 2018. All In.
Fuck.
So I'm going to need 5 matches there. And again, I need all the participants unless it's some kind of battle royal, in which case just tell me the name.
Okay.
Obscur royal.
So there was a battle royal. There was a battle royal. It was I know like 2 people that are in it, but there was a battle royal.
Can you tell me
the casino battle royal?
No,
the fucking God. Oh, was it the All In Invitational?
Nah, I'm going to give it to you anyway because I don't want to be too tight. It's the over the budget.
Oh, but that was it. Yeah. Because they had like Jordan Grace and Bully Ray were in it. Yeah, so I do know the match.
It was won by Flip Gordon.
Gordon, of course, a forgotten elite meme character.
Yeah. So that's one for you, Betty.
Okada versus Marty Scurll.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on. I remember nothing of this show. There was another cancelled guy on it. I'm trying to remember who he wrestled. I can't remember. Oh God, Cody versus Nick Aldis.
That is correct.
For the NWA title.
Yes. That's 3 correct answers, Barry. Can you give me 2 more?
What was that fucking main event? There was a 6-man main event. I'm trying to remember. Okay. I'll take a stab at it. It was a 6-man tag. It was Young Bucks. No, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. Another Kenny Omega versus Pentagon.
That's correct. That's 4 correct answers.
Okay, now so there's 2 matches left that I know, but I'm not 100% certain on the participants of all of them. So I'm like, do I want to take a fucking stab? I actually don't on the women's because I know less of that. I'm going to go back to that main event. Okay. The Young Bucks, Kota Ibushi, Rey Mysterio, Bandito. Who else was in their fucking orbit at that time? Fuck. I don't know. Ray Horus. I got wrong, but
God, that is incorrect, Barry.
Who was it?
Ray Phoenix.
Oh God! Hang on, I still have to go here.
Oh, fuck.
Well, he can't have that match if I name 5 of the people in it, can he?
He can.
Oh,
I think. I mean, to be honest, it's now 34 anyway. So
okay. I will take Ray Phoenix, and then I can see because I don't know any other matches.
Oh, that's insane! No, you can't make that. You told him Ray Phoenix. That's insane. That has to be a watch.
I'm going to disqualify Paul there.
But also, he has to get one other match.
You have to get what? Paul, come on, one.
I need one match.
Yeah, you need one match.
Let me have a crack at the women then. Britt.
They name a match.
Britt?
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Yes.
That's Chelsea Green, by the way, and Britt Baker in case.
Yeah.
Okay, I fucking picked up on it for some reason. Who else is in it? Fuck. Tessa Blanchard. And somebody else. The the Bunny?
Incorrect.
Or whatever she was called. So I can basically get 4 cracks at this last person. Yes, can I?
Yeah, that's fair.
So who did you say? So tell me what we were. Britt Baker.
Britt Baker, Chelsea Green, Tessa Blanchard, I think, was in it. And the Bunny, but that's a wrong answer, Brian. What other ladies were around at the time? Early AEW.
Yeah, like
Brandy Rhodes?
2010s.
No. Brandy Rhodes?
No.
Okay. Oh, Stephen Amell had a match on it. Who the fuck was he against? Wasn't Cody. Wasn't his best mate Cody, because he was in the other match. Was it like Chris Daniels against Stephen Amell?
That is correct.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That is correct.
I resign.
MJF
had a match. I don't know who's against. That's it.
What was the women's match? Refresh me on that.
4 had it all correct, except the 4th person, what was it? Madison Rain.
Madison Rain.
Yes. Chris Daniels. And the other ones were Matt Cross defeated MJF.
Okay.
Hangman Page defeated Joey Janela. Jay Lethal defeated Flip Gordon.
Right.
Double duty there. And then on the pre-show, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky defeated the Briscoe brothers.
Nice. Okay.
So there we go. That was all in 2018. So well done, Paul. You squeaked out there.
Well done, Paul. There,
despite my interference.
Yeah, ref. What the heck?
Well done, lads.
I need to,
like as always.
I don't really want to watch the original All In ever, but I feel like historically I probably should.
Doesn't it?
It doesn't sound very good. Yeah, I mean
it is the one big gaping hole in my like AEW knowledge.
I mean, it's an interesting curiosity. But the thing about it is that I mean, you look at that match on paper, you go, ugh. But also, like, there was like, it was so much like elite humor as well. It was just, it's just so like that was. I was really happy to see it succeed, but that it's so much of that stuff is just like I have never had any time for being the elite or any of that stuff tied to it. I never have. But yeah, thanks as always, Taskmaster Joe, for that one. That was a good one. Dynamite 300 this week. They were in Cali for this show.
Good looking crowd.
California. Yes, very very healthy looking attendance here for this year's show. Not quite the go-home show, I suppose that'll be this coming week. Hangman came out, cut another kind of fiery promo about how confident he is that he needs to defeat Moxley. He wanted to end it in a Texas death match. Moxley and his goons came out, said you wouldn't walk away from Texas death, basically denied him the match. A brawl broke out. With all the goons getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of capped off with Marina Shafir slapping the shit out of Hangman. She was slapping the shit out of him. I mean, she was laying it in, brother, as well you'd want. The Ops came out to make the save. The Death Riders ran off. Shafir took the what you call it, his clothesline thingy, the buckshot. So Hangman got back on the mic and insisted they get Texas Death, and indeed it was made official later on. So it was good. It was good stuff. Good functional stuff here.
Good stuff, and shoots my excitement for that main event up by about 100 points.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be better than the standard Mox versus Hangman match was going to be.
Yeah, I hope it isn't just, as we've talked about actually in the last couple of weeks, I hope it isn't just their version of Cody versus Roman where everyone's running in and it's entrance music. And
I think there'll be a little bit of that to it. But then by virtue of having the Casino Battle Royal earlier, I feel like that there's going to be less of it because some of the people, they'll have return in that match instead.
I would really love if they do the old angle, especially if Hangman's winning. If they just do the thing like they cut to the back and the Ops have like laid them out already, they're just dead backstage. and the match can just be the match. But I don't think that'll happen though. I think we are getting the circus, but we'll see. Our first match of the evening was Mercedes Moné retaining her title over Mina Shirakawa. I thought this match was great.
It was
certainly Mina's best match. I think I've seen of her so far. Her previous best one being also against Mercedes.
I was going to say, I feel like we've said that for her last 3 matches now.
Yeah, but she's come on so much, but also just like, you know, Mercedes is just on fire now at the moment. Really great stuff, just tremendous near falls. I mean, this was such an obvious result. But this crowd was really good in general, but they worked so hard. They really got them into some of those 2.9s there at the end. It was really good stuff. Really good stuff. They were doing a weird thing where like Tony was at ringside, like she was going to do the piss take steak eating thing, and she didn't. She was like doing a 1,000-mile stare for somebody. I didn't quite get what they were going for with that, but
they had a cake as well. Nobody's face went into the cake.
No, yeah, so just licked the cake.
Yeah, just and I was like, "Ooh, my goodness!" But you know, it was not. She put the beat down on Shirakawa afterwards. Tony did get involved, but then she got laid out. So you know, they. I was kind of worried they were going to do the cake thing. I was like, I don't need you to do a shitty cake angle. That's kind of lame. But they kept it fairly simple, and yeah, this is really good stuff. Young Bucks did hilarious comedy going to Rancho Cucamonga. Did little bits throughout the show. I mean, they were just showed up.
It did lead to one great bit.
I'll be honest, I watched the first one and I skipped the rest of them. I didn't have any interest in watching them.
I think it was not the first one. It was the bear on the pole outside school that Taz would just not shut up talking about for the entire show.
Yes, yeah. Taz talking about the bear was
Don't
funny.
Anybody tweet me the pictures of the bear.
But yeah, it was the thing where they were revisiting their hometown, but then they were like shit talking it because they're snobs. I mean, I just didn't care.
Yeah, we get it.
4-way MJF versus AR Fox, Brody King, Anthony Bowens for the number 2 spot in the Casino Gauntlet. It's good fun, all action, you know, for good solid wrestlers in there. Brody King really does feel like he's getting this kind of natural, just kind of gradual. He is getting over, you know what I mean? Very, very spontaneous is kind of the wrong word, but the fans are behind him. You know
AR Fox as well, though.
Yes, and it's been a long road back for AR Fox from the infamous initial Wembley show thing where it seemed like he was getting a fucking the rocket strap around that time, like a big spot against Sting. And then I guess he had trap issues that he did not tell them about, which they took great umbrage with, which was a very silly thing to do, to be fair. And he's had to eat shit for a lot of time, but it seems like, look, he's worked his way back up, and obviously he never wins, but he's on TV a lot, which is good for him. Yeah, good fun this.
Yeah, by the end of each match, he's like the most over guy.
Well, his stuff is so great, and it's funny because like he was like a super innovative guy like a decade ago, and a lot of his stuff still, like his flying is so good and so out there compared to a lot of people. He's really good. He's really, really great. He did tap out to MJF, so MJF is number 2. So again, this is your Casino Gauntlet thing where it's like a rumble, but it can end via pin and it can end instantly at the beginning. So you want to get in early is the way they do it.
Yeah.
Mark Briscoe.
Mark Briscoe came out for a Talk and Talk. I will go down with Talk and Talk next week.
Look at my new shirt, MJM. Big along the middle.
You got a little pickle.
They need. Actually, I know that he's in the Hellhound. I don't know where Buddy Murphy is, but they should have Brody and Briscoe be a team. Just call them the Dogs. And Mark was like, he's like a little Chihuahua, and Brody's like the big bulldog. I think you can have that idea for free. But yes, they're going to do a talkie talk next week. No, well, the premise is that there will be no Hurt Syndicate, but of course, I mean that's silly.
Yeah.
If you ever sit in nuts next to your tiny little pickle, I'll see you next week.
He's so good.
He's the best. He's the best. Then Jet Speed came out. Everyone was having a pop at the Hurt Syndicate this week. Jet Speed came out, and they were like, they showed a clip of them getting beaten up by the Hurt Syndicate on Collision. So they came out and they said, "Oh, we don't like you." And they got in the ring. And they started fighting. And they had their ribs taped up, the classic wrestling ribs taped up. So they got beaten down because their ribs were bad and they were outnumbered. So they got beaten up. And then Kevin Knight gets on the mic like, is that all you got? And they come down and they beat him up again. This felt like it went on for about like 20 minutes. Like they kept, and every time they came back to the ring, the Hurt Syndicate would put more of a beat down on. Bobby Lashley gave I think, Speedball the Dominator, which was cool. And just they kept doing the we'll never die thing. I liked this. I saw some people didn't like it because they got smushed. But I was like, I feel like the premise of it was that they came into it injured and they just wouldn't give up. Was the vibe of it. What did you guys think of it?
Yeah, it's all right. I think they're good opponents for the Hurt Syndicate. I'm just not that particularly invested in the whole thing. But yeah.
But I agree. It'll give Hurt Syndicate probably a much needed good match at the pay.
My problem with the segment was that they did kind of the same thing with Hangman earlier in the show.
That was also going to be one of my nitpicks of the week because Hangman's wasn't quite this level, but it was two people getting on the mic and saying, "Is that all you got? I'm still here." Like they did do two segments with that, which I agree that was a bit silly. So there we go. Well, they announced Knight challenged Benjamin to a singles match. And then by the time Collision rolled around, it was a 3-way. And spoilers, the pay-per-view match is also a 3-way. I don't know if maybe Jabsky didn't want to, they were looking at this match and going, well, we don't want to beat these guys anymore, but they're also not winning. So stick old patriarchy in there, brother. But we'll get to that in Collision. We got #ad Heroes and Villains Trios match. This show was sponsored by Superman. The motion picture, not the person. They had some vignettes throughout the night with David Corenswet and I don't know the girl's name who plays Lois Lane.
Rachel
Brosnahan, yes, that was right. Because I took note of that interesting pronunciation. Brosnahan and Tony Storm had a cute little exchange. That was nice.
Yeah. God
bless the boys. I don't think they really wanted to be doing the wrestling thing. Nicholas Hoult seemed like he was maybe slightly amused by it. Corenswet, I don't think he really wanted to be there. I did not get him. This was not one of those great celebrity things. You're like, oh man, you can tell he loves wrestling. He really wants to be there. And just a tip next time, boys, when you're filming one of these, get a box or something for the wrestlers to stand on. Wrestlers aren't towering over them. MJF looks like Nicholas Holt's little brother. And Kenny Omega, have you heard of protecting your aura? Have you ever heard of things like that? Putting a cape on and going, no, I feel like I can fly. You are main eventing more or less this show in like 2 weeks in a big gigantic stadium, and you're going like second from the top in title unification. Oh my God! I mean, could he have looked any dorky? It was so bad. It was so bad.
It was
I feel like I can fly. Come on. Anyway. Young Bucks and Takeshita versus Bandito and Strong and O'Reilly. This was we went a few weeks with that one. This was your Young Bucks crazy PWG action match, and I thought it was super.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Felt good to have one of these on the anniversary show, just a crazy, here's an action match,
Yeah, with Bandito, main eventer of the original All In.
Yes. Covered. Yeah. He looked good. Good to see Bandito on the show. I think he'll be a little bit of a fixture going forward. It is funny that they've got like the Ring of Honor champion in a kind of a mid-cardy jabroni role, but look, that ship has sailed. We've had that conversation 100 times. Yeah. Takeshita won in this one, pinning O'Reilly. So there you go.
Of course.
Out came Will Ospreay and Swerve after the match, and Swerve was like, people pointed out how silly this stipulation is, so let me just clarify one thing.
Let me make it even stupider.
Let me just, so I suppose it wasn't super clear. So they challenged the Bucks to a match like where their EVP titles are at stake, which I think people, fairly assume because it's wrestling, it's American wrestling as well. They're like, oh God, are they going to do like skits where Ospreay, like Austin going to WWF headquarters in 99? But he clarified that is not what they have no interest in running the company. We just want you to not be able to run it. So he clarified that. The Bucks were like, okay, well, why would we do that? And Ospreay said, well, bruv, if you win, myself and Swerve, we can't challenge the title for a year.
Bruv, we're not going to be in a fight title for a year, bruv. What?
And Swerve was like, what, mate? You and I are barely friends. What's going on here? You fucking what? You fucking what, mate? You what, mate?
I fucking laugh. Fuck me, fucking hell.
You and your bloody Barnet, right? Swerve is now even more British than Ospreay. The Bucks are like, it seems like you two aren't on the same page, so why don't you figure that out, and then maybe we'll agree to it. And so Ospreay did the whole trust me thing. Swerve begrudgingly accepted. So I was assuming this was a way to kind of ditch this EVP shtick.
Yeah.
I feel like now it's actually the opposite, and
yeah,
you know, because you'd have to imagine, right? It's Swerve coming back. Swerve, getting all mixed up here. It's Hangman presumably winning, right? And then like these two guys, Swerve and Ospreay, are the obvious bubbling under like the next guys who should probably be in the main event mix. And I think this will end up being your little storyline reason why, you know, Hangman faces some other heels and they're not in the mix.
It's a pretty stupid one.
Yeah, and I also I would love for the Young Bucks to no longer be doing their shitty.
Oh no!
They also, what was it? They suspended someone, didn't they? Like the other week, who was it? Was it Swerve? Was Swerve suspended a week ago or something? They did some shitty thing where, like, you know, annoying wrestling shit where they like suspended a babyface they don't like, and it's like, okay, but why doesn't Tony Khan just say, "Don't do that, mate. That's annoying. He's not suspended." Like, I hate that stuff. I hate all of that stuff. I would love. Maybe they still will. Maybe they'll go the route of the Bucks lose, you know.
I think they will. I think Swerve and Ospreay
you think
they
will? Yeah. Okay. I think that would be the more interesting direction. But also, like, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe them doing like these annoying vignettes. That's to gear up for them. You know, being, you know, losing it all. So they're.
I would have them next week on Dynamite doing vignettes like, oh, who are we going to put Swerve and Ospreay against in the pre-show? Oh, Ospreay against Peter Avalon. Oh, I can't wait to see that one, brother. Oh.
Yeah. I think if they really milk it on this week's Dynamite, that might indicate that's the direction they're going. Had another Heroes and Villains tag, Swerve and Ospreay versus LFI, Jalisco and the Beast Mortos, another very fun action-packed match.
Yeah.
House Call got the win for Swerve over Jalisco, so there you go. Mm-hmm. And there you go. So that's your build up for that.
Couple of nice tag team moves that Ospreay and Swerve have established.
Yeah,
they could be a fun team. They could be a fun team going forward. I don't know if they plan to stick together, but that would be.
Well, this is what you were saying. If they're going to be bubbling under slightly without necessarily having the 1 year stipulation, they can have a little tag run. Why not?
But that was that. After that, we got a match I was very fascinated to see. We got Ibushi versus Okada.
Is this your first time seeing Ibushi since he came back?
Yes, because I didn't watch last week. So... Yeah. Very curious because it seemed like a lot of the reviews were cautiously optimistic last week. This was, you know, an actual match. And look, it was not on the level of their, like, you know, them in their physical peaks 7, 8, 9 years ago. But I thought this was pretty great. I thought Ibushi looked, you know, pretty damn good, all things considered.
Very, very solid. Very nice. Very, very nice match.
Yeah. So they had a nice back and forth. They did, you know, and it was, you know, they
treated like Lance Archer's big trainers.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it was style icon. That guy knows how to dress. You know?
Giant Gen Z trainers on.
That's a fucking wrestler, man. Lance Archer is a fucking wrestler. He's got the big trainers. He's got the ridiculous like 2000s like emo pants with like loads of pockets and like spray paint designs on it. Like his big beautiful hair all the way down his back. Loads of tattoos. That's a pro wrestler. He's 800 feet tall. He's solid gold Homer. You know, yeah. So really good fun match here. Like, you know, it was a pay-per-view level match, and Okada got it with the Rainmaker in the end. Pretty straightforward. They didn't, you know, no shenanigans before the finish.
Yeah, if it was a pay-per-view match, it probably would have had another 5 to 10 minutes of like kick out.
Yes,
that's what it didn't have here, but it was super solid.
So they were putting the beat down on Ibushi. The crowd knew what they were setting up here. They were chanting for Kenny. Out comes Kenny. To make the save with the chair. So that was your kind of, they had to kind of walk the line the last few weeks where they were kind of like, oh my God, Kenny Omega is dead, but he will be at the pay-per-view. He will be at the pay-per-view. And this kind of cemented up to see him coming back here. So ran off the heels. They had a big hug. Everyone cheered. And so maybe post All In, we might do some revisiting the Golden Lovers, stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe a bit of a revitalization of the tag division on the cards here with Osprey and Swerve, Bushi and Omega, maybe.
Maybe.
Get FTR in there. But strong Dynamite here for their big birthday. Collision 100 also emanated from Ontario, Cali.
Yeah.
It was actually taped. Was this taped the same night or was this taped Thursday?
This was taped the same night, I believe. And
what a barn burning event these
I
folks got.
would not have believed if you told me that there would have been a match on this Collision better than anything on Dynamite, given that how good the Dynamite matches were. I wouldn't have believed you, especially if you told me that the Outrunners were in it. And yet, here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, this is a top-notch Collision to celebrate that birthday. So, I mean, like, as the theme of the last few months has been, I mean, AEW really cooking here to the piece de resistance of their comeback is All In, and they are firing on all cylinders here. We fly in the eye. I mean, they had a pure Monday Night Raw segment here to kick off the show, which I didn't really like. Adam Cole comes out to talk about how Collision, we bloody love Collision. He's yapping on, and out comes Kyle Fletcher. Oh, you bloody like story time, do you, mate? Well, what about story time with me? He talks about how, like, on the biggest night of Cole's life, Wembley, he lost in the pre-show, he being Fletcher, and he didn't forget that, which is a nice little callback. I like that. Yeah. And he wants to challenge Cole for the TNT title. Out comes Daniel Garcia, and he's like, lads, I am such a jabroni. I am such a little... I am such a little loser.
The newest member of Top Flight came out.
Yeah. I couldn't buy a bloody win. I couldn't. The point of this promo was that I always pick myself back up, which is a fine thing. But he laid it on a smidge too thick. He's like, yeah, you beat me. So what? Who hasn't?
But the worst bit was Adam Cole goes, how about, lads, at All In, we have a triple threat match. I'll take on the both of yous. I guess he goes, no, thank you. I want to fight Fletcher instead for the number one contender spot, which I imagine I'll definitely lose, by the way. So I'm giving away my free title match for no reason whatsoever. And gosh, guys, gee willikers, aren't I just shit?
Yeah,
and then that he'd lost.
Yeah, that was the other thing as well. Is like you knew he'd lose, right? Because obviously, Fletcher is their, he's their new guy. So you knew he'd lose, but that's why, like, it's like I say, it was a fine. The idea was fine. He laid it on way too thick on a show where you were also losing in the main event. Like it was, that was rough. That was a rough start.
This was like self-sabotage levels.
Yes, yeah. We had a little pre-tape here from Tony Storm saying that, if you're a little girl watching home, you might be buying this show because you're going to see the greatest women's match of all time. But it'll be a lesson. And the lesson is someone can only hurt you as much as you let them. She went on, and her big closing night was if they hurt the people you love, the damage done inside the ring, you've absolutely every right to rip their bloody tits off. Whoa. So there you go. Very good. So it is a good little promo there from Tony. I'm not sure at what point in the last couple of days they made this change. Maybe they said it on Dynamite. I don't know. But Kevin Knight faced Shelty B and Nick W in a three-way. Did they say that on Dynamite? Because Kevin Knight just challenged him, and then it just
I knew going in. I don't remember if I saw it online or whether it was on the Dynamite, but I knew going in that it was a three-way.
Okay,
which is all the more baffling that he challenged Shelton to a match in the first place. And then given the result here, all the more baffling that the match at the pay-per-view was a three-way as well. I don't understand what Christian and Nick Wayne have done to her and their spot in the match.
Well, I mean, that's one of the last problems they have is we won't do the rankings talk again, but you do, people just get.
Have Christian and Nick Wayne even had a tag team match? Have they had one?
I feel like they may have had one at some point, but certainly not recently. So that's it. So it's a three-way. Again, kind of feels like they wanted to do Jet Speed.
They've had one match. On Collision on the 25th of June, they beat Big Bill and Brian Keith. That's their only match.
Well, there you go.
Obviously, in preparation for this, yeah. It maybe seems a little bit like they wanted to do Jet Speed, Hurt Syndicate, but Hurt Syndicate are winning, and they don't want to beat Jet Speed again. Which, to be honest, you could just do.
Or Jet Speed are winning, and they're pinning Nick Wayne.
As low as I kind of am on the Hurt Syndicate stuff, I don't think they should be losing just yet. That seems very early for Jet Speed.
That was my initial thought, is they're making a 3-way because they don't want to have Blaster or Shelton pin. That was my immediate thought.
I had a good little pre-tape from Castagnoli. Saying the Hobbs were the Hobbs. The Ops.
The Hobbs.
The Hobbs were constantly sticking their noses into their business. He's like, I'm not going to scream, I'm not going to yell, but he called them out.
German.
He spoke in a foreign tongue briefly, and so it seems like that's going to be your trios title match.
But who's going to be their partner is the question.
Oh yeah, actually, I didn't even realize. Yeah, because it's Claudio
Wheeler,
and Mox defended it that one time for them, didn't he?
Well, Mox is going to be in the main event.
But obviously, he's in the main event, of course. So are we getting
Pac back or
Pac returns?
What's his face?
Are we getting
fake Pac from New Japan? Billy.
Gabe Kidd. Yeah, maybe.
GB Kid.
Could be Kid or Hook.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, that'd be rubbish.
Good on.
I'm over Hook. But you know what? Maybe that would give him something interesting to do. Yeah, so they did that thing where he came back, but he looked like
double or nothing.
But he's like, but just to be clear, I'm like not cool with you guys for some reason.
And then he never appeared again.
I feel like it'd be very silly if he joined the, especially because now I'm assuming Hangman is winning, but if we're kind of sunsetting some of that Death Rider stuff, it doesn't feel like a good time to then stick in a new member, you know what I mean? But we'll see.
It doesn't make sense as well on the level of, you replaced me in the team, so I'm joining the people who injured me in the first place.
Yeah, that's silly wrestling stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
We got Mystico and Hologram and Mark Briscoe. Hang on, I got a sneeze coming. Excuse me, my goodness. Defeating RPG Vice and Hechicero in a very fun, high-flying, I was about to say a 3-way, trios match here. They had Mystico came out to his song, and it was great, and Mark Briscoe air guitar to it when it was over, which was good fun. Just good action here on the on this one.
Is Mystico in the conglomeration now as well?
I think he must be. To continue this the greatest stable of all time.
Yeah.
What do they talk about? That's what makes the stable so great. It's just down the pub. It's Mystico. It's Willow Nightingale. It's Mark Briscoe. It's Tomish.
Talk.
Yeah, having a talky talk over a couple of brewskis, playing cards.
Fair play. Sounds good.
Out came MVP and MJF afterwards. Shit talk. They shit talked to Briscoe. I feel like they didn't really follow up too much.
Well, Mystico's in the gauntlet match as well, is what they said.
Yes, that was the connection. Yeah, and MVP rather did address that, which is fair enough. So that's the big kind of angle going into that gauntlet is you'd have to imagine it's MJF, Briscoe, and Mystico are your three keys in that one.
Right.
Maybe there'll be a surprise guy in there. You don't know, but we got the Max Caster 5-minute thing. Now, see, he started to do his chant, right? And because the fans are getting into it, so they started singing on it. He goes, "Hey, stop doing that," which I think is good because he should be a heel. But what he should do is he should just do it off tempo. Like the point is that it's supposed to be a stupid bad chant, but the fans have figured out a way to do it. So he should just like start clapping mid-word and stuff like that, and
interrupt them when they start doing it.
Yeah, he's like, "Let's go, Max. You are the best." He should do some stupid shit like that.
Like his own chant is bad. Like he does it badly.
Yeah, he does it badly, exactly. So,
well, he made them chant like, "We're the worst crowd ever" or something. And
he goes, "This crowd sucks," and they did it because we just live in an irony poisoned age where people will just do that. It's just I
think people will just chant whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's always the case. So it was time for his little mystery thing. I was genuinely quite surprised by this. They play a video on the screen, a training vignette for Scorpio Sky of all.
Remember him?
If you gave me 100 guesses, I never would have thought that's who it was. So it seems like they're trying it again. I don't really have. This is the thing. I have no hopes or aspirations for this one. They've tried this so many different times, but I will say, as far as like the presentation of like a white meat babyface kind of character, I thought he came off way cooler than like Anthony Bowens. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Better video, song. He's got a crew. So they did a kind of a like, he's not like in Top Flight, but they're like a gym, like an MMA gym. Do you know what I mean? They train together. So it's like he comes out and he has like Layla Gray, Top Flight, and who was someone else? Chris Daniels. So it was kind of like, we're not like a wacky stable necessarily. Like, remember when Top Flight...
They're like the new SCU is the vibe.
Yeah, they're like SCU, or like when Cody used to come out with 100 people because they were like his trainers, his campmates, you know. Yeah. Kind of doing that. He's got a cool video, like a red and white, like, you know, and it was like, you know, it was an all right presentation. But at the end, so he beats Caster in like, you know, 40 seconds.
Of course.
It's never happening with this guy, I don't think. I mean, he's one of those wrestlers. He definitely has a lot, but it's only up to a certain point. I don't think he's ever going to be that top level. He's like a good worker. He's like a good promo, but just good. Just
he also
good.
came off to like try hard in, ironically, the same way Frankie Kazarian used to.
Yeah,
like he's trying to force. Hey guys, I'm real cool and awesome.
Mm.
Yeah, which worked as a heel, but now it's kind of like a face as well. It's never worked with this guy. I think he's good enough. He's talented enough when you have like 4 hours of TV to be around, you know, and mixing it up in the mid card. But yeah, we'll see how long this lasts. The write up here on AEW.com notes that he has been off TV for 2 years, which is huge. More Ricochet recruiting backstage.
Looks like the Gates of Agony are.
Which is it's a good get. Yeah, he opened the door and the Gates of Agony had fucked up Blake Christian and Lee Johnson backstage. I like the Gates of Agony. Every time they get like a brief like one pay-per-view cycle push, I always think they're really solid.
I think they have potential.
Good heavies for him.
I think they have potential as like get away from that kind of like we're crazy savages and get into more like a modern like Ricochet's goons. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, and but it should be consistent because obviously they love Ricochet. They're pushing him really hard. That will mean they are consistently around, as opposed to, as I say, the constant thing of it's a kind of dry month. Gates of Agony, I guess, for the tag titles. You know, on this, we've got a bit. You know, get out of that and get them into consistent TV territory. Willow beat Vipress in a pretty straightforward squash match. I like Vipress has this spot where she like gets annoyed and she puts her hair up, which I thought was funny. But this was pretty short. Chris Statlander, another Monday Night Raw segment, was watching the TV at a funny angle backstage. Yuta walked up after they panned to Statlander and she walked off in a huff. So they continue to tease that Death Riders are recruiting her, but she's resistant. So we'll see where they go with that. So yeah, quick match there. Then they had a very bad segment. So they after Bowens lost on Dynamite, this was like a recorded at Dynamite thing. Renee was like asking Bowens about, hey, you know, shit fucking sucks lately, right? What's going on there? And he was like, look, you know, it was so WWE speak, you know. His verbiage, it was like, there's no room for negativity, Renee. I'm the pride of pro wrestling. You know, it's like, you know, calling yourself your nickname. Like, it's very hokey. Then Billy Gunn comes up and helps him up, and Bowens came off so whiny. He's like, thanks for the help, but where were you out there? He's like, it's always bad when they tease dissension, and the babyface like, why weren't you out there like interfering to help me win? You know, So they had a little spat here, and look, we've been saying these two need to split for a while, but this, it feels like Bowens is on life support at the moment as a baby face on the supposed come up.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, the fucking AEW website has like fucking 500 words written about this. It was not that deep, lads.
It was not that good. What was deep was the next tag team match.
Oh, baby. So this is a match I think we were waiting for quite a while. Ever since when FTR were still baby faces and they were buddying up with the Outrunners, you kind of knew at some point when these boys go heel, They got to have a match where they fucking kill these guys. They kill these fucking comedic messers. So that's what this match was. But I mean, it was very much, it was about FTR fucking them up. But like, they gave the Outrunners a lot, and they had some brilliant hope spots and some brilliant near falls. This was one of the top TV matches in AEW in a while, I would say. You had Turbo Floyd with the blade ski. You had Truth Magnum hobbling around on one leg. So every time like one of them was getting worked on, the commentator was like, "Oh God, even if he tags in the other guy's fucking have to." But FTR, as good as they are, I mean, they made these guys as believable as they reasonably could be. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like Shirakawa and Mercedes on Wednesday. Yeah. It's like there was no real doubt about the result, but the match was so good that they got the fans. You know?
Yeah.
This was great stuff.
This was Bret Hart making Tom McGee look like a million bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. This was probably, I mean, best tag team match I've seen in quite a while. Maybe since the FTR like Bullet Club Gold matches of
oh yeah, yeah, I forgot about those.
I went into this with like no expectations at all. By the end of it, I was on the edge of my seat. So great job, all four. I mean, this is my match of the week by a mile.
Yeah. And look, in the big spot, the Outrunners have had trouble delivering in the actual bell to bell, but they held up their end here.
Yeah.
And this is really good. Joe, if you didn't watch Collision, this would be worth going out of your way to check out. It wasn't that good.
I flicked through it to see Megan Bain's Liger Bomb that you mentioned about. Yeah. That was the only bit I watched.
Okay, well, flick back and watch that.
I might watch that as well. Yeah.
Well, speaking of, we had our all-star 8-woman tag match here. Athena, Megan Bain, Tekla, Julia Hart defeating TJ, Thunder Rosa, and Queen Aminata. Good match. I found a good work. They found a good workaround for the wonkiness of the Julia Hart moonsault lately, which is they had I think it was Rosa counter it by putting the feet up. So it actually made sense that Julia then landed on her feet. So that was actually a cool little spot.
Sure,
it's a good match, good hard hitting match. Megan Bain seems to have she's maybe ditched the F5, but certainly finish. It appears that the Liger Bomb is in. And it was great. It was a really top-notch looking running Liger Bomb.
Like the Dino Iron styled way.
Oh, very good, yeah.
Really good stuff. So she hit that pinning and a J. So, keeping the Bane flame alive still somewhat.
Yeah.
Again, we've talked many times about those tag titles. I feel like they have to become, but certainly post-Texas at this stage, it would seem.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the aforementioned Kyle Fletcher win over Danny G. Another match with blood in it here on this main event. But this was really good stuff. This was another, I would say, pay-per-view quality match. They worked super hard.
For sure.
Danny G, despite being a giant loser, got the people behind him. Really good stuff.
Very good. And Fletcher looks like he's going to be winning that TNT title at the pay.
You would have to imagine, yeah. For the finish before this, by the way, was Garcia was about to get counted out, and Cole got up from commentary to encourage him to get in and not get counted out, and Garcia gets in the ring and instantly gets hit with a moving pin.
Yeah. Well, Fletcher gave him the powerbomb of the apron, the one that he nearly killed Adam Cole with, so that was the game.
Yes. So he was basically dead before he even got back in the ring, so there you go. So I feel like we might, so once he loses the title, I feel like we might get a Cole Garcia feud, but maybe... Is Garcia going heel? Maybe not. No, I think that'd be silly. Well, maybe he is actually. All this talk about how much he loses. Maybe it's a kind of like he's getting ready to turn.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
So
the thing about him as a heel, though, is I just feel like all it does is people start rooting for him to be a babyface again. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
Well, I don't know. He does definitely need a change of scenery, I feel like.
He needs something, yeah.
So, All In then is next Saturday. We only have 8 matches still officially announced.
Yeah. I was looking through the roster of like who's not got a match. It's not too many.
Keep in mind though, you've got 2 matches, the gauntlets that could be 20 to 40 minutes piece. And they've got some stars, like we mentioned on the men's one. They've got some stars in there.
Let's have one gauntlet go an hour and a half and have 71 people in it before it ends.
I mean, this is the first world problem of AEW. You look at the card, it's 8 matches. You go, they could add a few more, because they stack these cards, which is always a good problem to have. Let's take a look then at this card. I mean, I think it looks spectacular. I really do.
It looks very good.
They have They have filled this bad boy out. And the casino gauntlets, I mean, that's easy money. Those are always good fun.
Yeah, also, I mean, picture my face when I saw that this pay-per-view starts at 8 p.m. GMT.
Yes.
Oh, baby.
Lovely stuff. So, three-way for the tag titles. First, Syndicate versus Jet Speed versus the Patriarchy. Honestly, I feel like it being in terms of pure match quality, I think it being a three-way kind of takes it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Bobo and Shelton could have a really good match with Knight and Bailey. But we're going to be doing Christian chicanery. He won't tag in. Nick Wayne's getting annoyed. You know, they're panning to Mother Wayne. People are getting cross at each other. It should be good, but, you know, yeah, definitely disappointed it's a three-way. Definitely disappointed it's a three-way.
Mm-hmm. Let's just add FTR to it as well, make it a four-way. Fucking hell. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, just
keep going.
And put the titles on the main tag team act in the company.
We were doing the quizzes earlier, and a lot of the two previous All-Ins were packed full of like trios matches and triple threat matches. Yeah. So I'm happy that this year's one isn't. Like that's the only one.
I know. Yeah, we did complain about that. I feel like last year,
true,
and the year before. So, but I still feel there's a few kind of singles. Like Ricochet doesn't have a singles match. Maybe he'll be in the Gauntlet, but I'd love to see Ricochet after the year he's had be in a big like singles match.
That'd be a fun first feud for Hanger if Hanger is winning a Ricochet. Obviously, the Ricochet is not maybe that credible, but he's he is, like you said, he's had a great year. He's put the work in. I think he could have some fun stuff with Hanger. But Cole versus Fletcher for the TNT title in a singles match. I mean, if you are a betting man, surely the house goes on Fletcher here.
Yeah.
Fletch lights. Just in terms of their respective pushes, but also put a bit of respect back on this title, which has been languishing. You know, in
Fletcher's a good name to hold it.
Yes, sure. Absolutely. I mean, Collision is not. It's not jacked. Okay, it's not metal. But like this title mainly being on Collision, it hurts. It does hurt it absolutely. And Fletch and Garcia on kind of a downswing versus very much on a downswing Cole feuding over it. That hurt it a lot.
Yeah, let's get Fletcher in there having some banger main events for the TNT title.
Yeah, get Fletcher in there, like do a Briscoe match on TV or something. Let's put some juice back on this, because this early days of this title, it was like, wow, they're doing mid card titles right. It's secondary to the world. It feels special. And then, I mean, it's below the other ones.
Now we have the unified championship above it, so.
Yes, yeah. Swerve and Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. If Swerve and Ospreay lose, they can't challenge for the world title for a year. If the Young Bucks lose, they'll be stripped of their EVP titles. I mean, that's silly, isn't it?
Ruthless aggression, ass.
Yeah. Yeah, matches for office titles. But listen, bell to bell, that's a great match.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sure. Young Bucks have been on one lately trying to prove that they still have it. They very much do. And look, Swerve and Ospreay are two of the best in the company. So that could be, I mean, this is a stacked card. Any number of matches could be considered you can't really call any of them sleeper possible steals because you know, they're all going to be, any one of these has the potential to be match of the night. So, as I'm, let me see here. So next week on our card here, we do have our gauntlet. I was going to see who is confirmed for is there anyone confirmed for the women's?
Statlander is number one, and they're having a 4-way on Dynamite this week for the number 2. I think it'll probably be Megan Bain number 2 would be my prediction.
Yeah.
I
don't like this revealing the 1 and 2. I never liked it for the Royal Rumble. I don't like it here.
No,
I want to be surprised. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, I feel like it's weird because their hands are kind of tied, because in the same way you would do the odd match every now and then where people would fight for 30 in the Rumble, I guess they want it. That's it. But I'm with you. I'd rather it be just, you don't know.
No surprise.
But yeah, so, I mean, funnily enough, I think we said this about the last one of these they did on TV, but given the recent news, certainly if they wanted to do a little vote of confidence, a little sticking it to the sheets, man, you'd have Baker pop up in here, but you know what? You wouldn't do that just for the pop to then have her go back to doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't get my hopes up. I'm trying to think, is there anyone else, like free agents?
Gail Kim?
Windsor, who? Alex Windsor might be in there.
Alex Windsor.
Oh, yes. I mentioned that on Collision, actually. Yeah, they had a really good vignette of her. That'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be a good one. I was somewhat surprised. Apparently, this company, they're interested in Isla Dawn, this company.
She'll probably be in there as well then.
So, this would be a good place for her to show up. But, well, actually, would it? Because it's like we're in Texas and she was like a lower mid-carder in WWE. I don't know. But whatever. I mean, look, they're fleshing out their division. The division's got a lot of momentum right now. So I think bringing in more people will be good, But anyone else? Who else? I mean, do they have any of their, like... any of their kind of part-time, like, kind of Japanese women who, Riho... Shida. Yeah, where's Shida been? I'm pretty sure she's healthy, although she might be good for a pop. I feel like they've done everything with Shida, so I think maybe showing up in these every now and then is probably about where she's at. But yeah, so I don't think other than Dawn there's too many free agents unless I'm
Big Swole, Big Swole back.
Oh,
just bring Mel. I was just about to say Mel. Oh dear. We thinking Bane on this?
Yeah.
I would love to see Bane, but then is she going to win the title? I give Bane the reign, but they won't.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Are you going to do Bane and then have her lose again to Tony? I don't know if you want to do that.
Only do it if she's going to win.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, they need to get someone else to the top. Tony can't just be the champion.
Athena,
maybe anything. A stat on there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really curious because, again, not to harp on these tag titles, I feel like that, like the Willow stat thing is building to a team, but I could be completely wrong on that. It's interesting. It is interesting because I do think, spoilers for the main. I do think Tony is winning, and they're going to definitively crown her as like the best. Basically, one of the best women in the company's history. Be the first, but then I'm like, okay, but who then beats her? I would be, because they've got a lot of depth. But do they have any? But do they have a lot of people at tippy top of the card, Tony Storm level? I don't know if they.
I mean, they only did the Megan Bain match the once, so maybe that is something they could go back to. And it was like Megan Bain beat the shit out of her for the whole match.
Shit out of her, and it was really good. Yeah. So. Men's casino gauntlet as well. So we have Mystico, MJF,
and Briscoe.
Mark Briscoe and MJF 1 and 2. As we mentioned, any notable man such as Ricochet who's not in a match, you'd have to imagine is in this. Brody probably be in this.
And there are plenty of imminent returns. Obviously, we don't want to get ourselves over hyped up and then somebody doesn't show up, but
yeah.
There's a good 4 or 5 people that could realistically show up here.
Yeah. Unless he's winning, which I don't think he would. You wouldn't put Danielson here, I wouldn't think.
Oh, I don't think so. I think Danielson's more likely to show up during the main event.
Yeah.
But, if we're going to say it, Kingston, who's the other one I was about? Literally just about to say Eddie Kingston, Darby,
of course, yeah.
Juice Robinson, we don't know. Pac. We don't know what the Jay White situation is. Hook. I mean, there's a lot of people who could potentially be in this match.
Yeah. So I suppose if Pac is healthy, you'd imagine he's doing that.
The other one. So maybe Hook would be here. Yeah.
Actually, Wikipedia doesn't have that. So actually, that is 9 matches then, I guess, because Wikipedia doesn't have the trios match.
But the trios match. Yeah.
But there you go. Yeah. So presumably you'd get your Pac there. But yeah, lots of people on the sidelines. I'm trying to think again. Scanning in my head, free agents, anyone super notable. Baron Corbin. Anyone,
what about what's that?
Everyone from the Braun
Jade, Cora Jade.
Actually, Cora Jade for the women's. Actually, that's actually not a that'd be that's a name.
That'd be good.
I'm from the men's side. I was about to start naming TNA people, but that's off.
Lucky Cannon from NXT.
Season 1.
Yeah, Lucky Cannon. Yeah.
Who's like because now they haven't actually done, who's like, sometimes in the Rumble they'd put like a legend, but like a comedy legend, like a honky tonk man when his knees were shot. Like who's like an old wrestler they could put in there for a laugh? Not a Nigel level guy who can actually go. But like.
They're all under Legends contracts. That's the problem.
That's actually true. Yeah, there's no kind of like
Yuji Nagata.
Well, yeah, they can get some New Japan. Tanahashi, get some old boys in the. Tanahashi's a great. Listen, that's not a bad shout. He's
Jake the Snake.
Although I think they did advertise whatever that last New Japan Strong show. I think that was.
It would be funny if there was like Prince Nana and Don Callis.
That'd be pretty good.
Were in the match to like get a title shot for themselves, and then they would have a little fight between themselves. I mean, they're both former wrestlers, so
Yeah, so I'm curious. You know, these matches. I mean,
God, I've all worked myself up now. Imagine if Callis came out as a participant. The crowd would be going insane.
Oh no!
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, the last one damn near stole the whole show.
Yes. I mean, the last one is the most excited I've ever been watching a match in person. It was incredible being there in person.
Now, that one had some Brit flavor. This is Texas. I mean, those Von Erich boys that I mean, they're MLW signed. Who cares? Whatever, they can show up in this. You know, a couple of different ways.
Tony, get the wallet out for Steve Austin. Just make sure he's not drinking on the day and doesn't drive out to the ring.
Yeah.
Taker, you're allowed.
Taker coming out wearing him your brother in his like American military hoodie, flip flops. No, lads, don't get up. Come on now. Now it's fine.
Go as long as you're
with a podcast mic. You know,
Dwayne.
So yeah, look,
Dwayne.
Yeah, Dwayne. Just what was that picture he posted on Instagram where he was looking at the Rubik's Cube,
the New Japan.
Yeah, but with just like an AEW hoodie, just instead, or an AEW shirt. It says all in like graphic on it. Yeah. So look, that'll be good fun. Those and both those matches, I think.
Jack Perry could be in it, by the way, as well. He hasn't been around for a while. I mean, there's actually a lot of people.
A good one as well, and he's one who can show up and he doesn't have to win. Like, he can just show up and be in it and get a pop. Good thing about both those matches, winner is completely up in the air. I think that's good.
Yeah.
No dead certs.
I mean, MJF probably favorite, but not
you'd be leading MJF for sure. Winner takes all to unify the Continental and the International Championship to make the Unified Championship. And I think I get the feeling this will be like OG TNT title days. I think they're going to make this basically world title 2.
Yeah.
You know, Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada.
35 minutes, please.
Oh, absolutely. I think. I mean, again, yeah. I mean, you got the 2 gauntlets and this. I think that's where you make up the time on this show.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to set the bar too high because everyone's a little bit older from when these guys peak. But when Okada turns it on in this company, he's delivered. And Omega, for a guy who had such a bad, the diverticulitis stuff. I mean, his matches since he came back have also been tremendous when he's been really on. So I have pretty hefty hopes for it. I really do.
Okada just had a great match with Ibushi, who's had like 2 matches in a year. So
yeah,
or maybe he's had more that I'm not aware of. But like last time we saw Ibushi, he could barely move. So I mean, Okada definitely still can go.
What are we thinking for this? Who you got?
This one's 50-50.
Oh, really? I think Omega.
You think Omega?
Yeah.
Much like Mercedes, Okada's another guy protected very well, other than some C2 losses. So yeah, are we gonna go happy ending? Are we gonna go happy ending up and down this card really with Omega and Hanger and Mercedes, with that Tony rather,
and Swerve and Ospreay? I mean, we need a Sadden here, I think.
Well, this is the thing now. When they originally announced Hanger versus Moxley, you're like, okay, here we go now. They're wrapping up the Death Riders. I don't know why, but for some reason, as the weeks have ticked by, I'm kind of like, are they going to maybe, they like making the Hangman suffer, you know?
No, I think Hangman's suffered enough.
Yeah.
I think so too. Don't get me wrong. I think
serve the audience.
I think we've ripped the piss already out of constantly having the Hangman come close and lose. I think that's been done to death. I think you go here. I mean, it's interesting though, because if it was any other angle, I feel like Mercedes and Tony would main event here. But because you've built this up for so long and the Death Riders has been this big thing and you're doing Texas Death, kind of feels like this has to go on last, unless you are going to do the upset and Hangman loses. You know, but should be mental. I'm sure they'll do some disgusting shit and kill each other.
Yeah. Moxley to just take a full on shoot cinder block to the head.
Yeah. Darby Allin to jump off the roof of the stadium onto him.
The irony of Darby to survive climbing Everest and then gets severely hurt on some mad
on wrestling.
Yeah. Knock on wood. It won't happen.
Timeless Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné in the AEW World Championship. Again, I would have really liked to have seen this main event. I just don't think you can main event it over a Texas death match that's going to probably blow off the whole Death Riders thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, incredibly high ceiling on this. They're both on a great run. They're both super over. I mean, again, like the Kenny Okada thing, I don't want to over egg it, but I mean, it has the ceiling is like the best women's match in company history for this one. So not to put too much pressure on, but should be great. And I, as I said all along, I think Tony wins here. You give Mercedes her first loss.
Yeah.
Tony celebrates confetti, cements herself as the woman in AEW history, you know?
Right.
Absolutely.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
That is a blistering card. Absolutely top notch. The boys will be back next week to chat about it. Really looking forward to it. They probably look great on TV as well. I think they're over the 20,000 mark or something. They are. So it's one of their biggest shows, the biggest show in the US easily for them this year. So good stuff for them. So there you go. That's all in. Flicking over to our non-wrestling segments this week. Oh my God. Who went and saw the new Jurassic World?
Not me, because I watched the previous one.
Oh, pardon me. I got my titles wrong.
I can't see the new one until I've seen all the
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. Go on.
Let me give you my Jurassic Park rundown, right? Jurassic Park number 1.
Brilliant.
Pretty good. Dinosaurs. That in it. Go faster. Yes, Jeff Goldblum.
You're too busy thinking whether you care. You can stop to think whether you sure.
Yes, the guy from Seinfeld went into the toilet.
Samuel Jackson smoking
non-stop.
Bad for your health. Very.
And he claims to be a doctor. I don't know.
I don't know about that. Bit unusual. That movie's very good. Okay. Lost World. Ooh, boring as all heck.
Yeah.
Boring. Jurassic Park 3 is bad, but like fun and enjoyable. It's not great, but it's fun. Jurassic World, I like it, but it definitely has a lot of problems. Fallen Kingdom, big old pile of shit. And then that brings us to Dominion. So Dominion is, as I started watching it, Jurassic Park 6, Jurassic World Dominion. It's like, okay, this is the movie finally where the dinosaurs have got out. They're taking over the world. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to have some big old set pieces, Godzilla style of like T-Rexes knocking over buildings and fighting in downtown New York and da-da-da-da-da. And it's got a shockingly like small amount of dinosaur action in it. It's like about locusts and about this clone girl from the previous movie, and very little of it is actually about dinosaurs, which is baffling to me. So like the plot is really bland and beige. The dialogue is really atrocious. They bring back the previous leads from the original, so you've got your Laura Dern, you've got your Sam Neill, you've got your Goldblum, as well as your Pratt and Dallas Howard and the rest. But like, while I was watching the first like 45 minutes, I thought, I think this is better than the previous one. It's very, very middle of the road. But actually, as it went on, the bad writing and the bad characters and the bad plotting all kind of started to accumulate. And I thought, actually, this is just as bad as the previous one. This is rubbish. I mean, how hard is it to get it wrong? Like, dinosaurs taking over the world, okay. Like, I would have my 3 or 4 big set pieces that I want to do based off that. And we're going to have the people like Mad Max style riding the big brachiosauruses down Main Street that have them all done up like, elephants or, with the big like saddles and people hanging off the side with fucking machine guns and stuff. None of that in the movie. There's one scene early on where T-Rex like attacks a drive-in theater, and apparently that's only in the extended version. It's not even in the theatrical version. So I don't know what they were thinking when they had the ball like Charlie Brown set up for them, and instead of like kicking and having moved out of the way, they just like ran the wrong direction and kicked a tree. I don't know what they were doing in this movie. Completely baffling from start to finish. Why? And they did that thing that a lot of the Marvel movies do and a lot of modern blockbusters do, where like 70% of the movie takes place in like a lab or like that kind of high-tech biolab setting. It's like, I just want to see fucking dinosaurs in like New York. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see any of this lab shit. So falls into that trap. So yeah, absolutely atrocious. Do not recommend. We'll see how the new one goes. Hopefully,
it's making $1 bajillion. I mean, people will always go and see these. It doesn't matter. I'm kind of surprised thinking it because I saw that news earlier today that it's made bank again.
350 mil or something. Yeah,
it's like it's kind of weird that they haven't like. It's kind of weird that they haven't like Marvel style. Okay, here's a streaming TV series in the universe. Like they haven't really. Now they've turned out 1 million sequels, obviously, but I'm kind of surprised they haven't milked it even more by like modern standards of milking a money.
I mean, they're making enough from the films. Maybe that's enough for them.
I suppose. Yeah, they're like, why ruin a quote unquote thing? That all you've seen this week, Paul?
No, I also got another film out of the library. In fact, I got 3 films out of the library. I've only watched one of them so far. I've also taken out Hard Truths, which Joe recommended. So I will be checking that out over the next week. And I took out Casablanca, which I've never watched.
Nice.
Which I believe is Spanish for El Casablanca. And then I watched a movie called Mother's Instinct, which you might have seen trailers for this past year. It's the movie with Jessica Chastain and Anne Hathaway as like neighbors. And there's like, they both have young sons of similar ages. And then one of the sons dies in a very unfortunate accident. And so it's a psychological thriller about the fallout of that. I found it okay. It was kind of middle of the roady. I think it leaves it too late to kind of go into the dark camp. It plays it a little too straight throughout, and kind of by the time it gets to where you were kind of hoping it would go, it's a little too late. I think it's a good hour too late. In fact, the movie only goes 90 minutes. So, the Anne Hathaway character is the one who loses the son. He falls off the balcony of the house. And there's like ambiguity about whether the Jessica Chastain character could have got there in time to save him, or whether she kind of let it happen, because there's some brewing animosity between the two families. And then from there, it just kind of builds and builds and builds, where Anne Hathaway is getting close to the other son. Another family member dies, and there's ambiguity about who was involved and how did it happen. And the two characters are kind of going crazier and crazier, getting in their own heads about each of their kind of storylines or their timelines in terms of what happened and what actually was the cause of this original horrible event. Like I say, I kind of wish it was a bit more stylized. I kind of wish it was a bit more kind of knowingly crazy and a little bit camp, a little bit like, I don't know, like, not that it would be like a dark comedy, but I would kind of hope that it was a little bit more knowingly strange. And it was a little too down the barrel of the gun until the very, very end, like the last 5 minutes of the movie. And I think that was a little too late, unfortunately, for me to properly enjoy it. But it was okay. It was fun. That's all for me.
Alrighty. I watched, gone back to watching motion pictures from World Wrestling Entertainment Studios this week on the stream. I'm going in chronological order. So next up, I had 12 Rounds, which is a very early John Cena joint.
Yeah.
Directed by Rennie Harlan, who has made a lot of shite and some stuff that people like, but a lot of rubbish. 12 Rounds is all right. It's firmly in the category of, if you were stuck indoors on a Friday night and it was on E4, you'd kind of be not offended to watch it. That's the category of action film it is. It's cliche, it's dumb, but it's actually not that bad. They blow a lot of stuff up, for real, blow a lot of real stuff up. It's kind of a remarkable film because they do a lot of practical effects. There's a lot of there's a Terminator 2 knockoff sequence where a big truck is crashing through a lot of stuff, and they're like smashing these cars up. And then I read afterwards it had like a $6 million budget, which is, these days, that's the budget for like a sort of a mopey little sort of indie film where like Adam Driver sits in a flat eating porridge for 90 minutes. and just about get that made for £6 million these days. And then back in 2008, you had John Cena like driving trucks down the street, blowing up cars. It's fine. It's also Harlan, of course, directed Die Hard 2, and this movie is the most I've pinched everything from Die Hard ever. So Aidan Gillen is the bad guy in it, and he says, John Cena, I'm going to put you through a Die Hard with a Vengeance plot, actually. So he kidnaps his wife, and he's like, you have to basically compete in a bunch of my games around the city. So that's straight out of Die Hard 3.
Yeah.
But also there is a very badly written, very cringe, the cops are beefing with the FBI over like who has authority over this situation, and just almost like so shamelessly ripped off from Die Hard 1. Like the FBI guys are written the exact same way. It's so obvious. So Harlan is like, people didn't like my Die Hard, but what if I took these little bits and then I made it again, but with a wrestler? It's all right. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's not as offensively bad as you might expect. Next week, The Marine 2, which
good luck.
So look forward to that.
Good God.
I'm doing a double whammy next week. I'm watching that, and then I'm watching the Timothy Olyphant Hitman movie. So bangers left, right, and center coming your way. I wanted to watch the Thunderbolts movie, the new Marvel. I heard there's a new Marvel out. It's crazy.
We should see the new Marvel.
This is a spoiler-free house. But I wanted to watch it, and I was like, now I don't keep up with all the Marvel stuff. I haven't watched most of the Disney Plus stuff, and I haven't seen a couple of the movies, like the Marvels and stuff. I broke that habit ages ago, but I was like, I'll watch the most recent Captain America, because it's like, all right, that's like a big one, right? So I'll give it a watch. And it didn't review very well. Obviously, it didn't have very good word of mouth, so I wasn't expecting very much. I was caught off guard by how horrible it was. I mean, it is like that is where these Marvel movies are. It's not just it's kind of like a all right, but like kind of boring like CGI fest. Like it's bad. It's really, really bad. It looks absolutely horrible. I know people have made like the Spy Kids comparison a million times over a lot of like modern films, but it's not just that the effects are bad on like, you know, the green screen or whatever. But you know what else I noticed in a lot of these films is like the lighting on like Anthony Mackie to make him look like he's seamlessly in the CGI world is so bad.
Right.
Like, you know, towards the end, they have a big fight scene and it's like the sun is coming up. And so he's standing in front of this obviously fake sunrise. And they're just blasting him with like an orange light just off to the left of the scene. It's just like, it just looks terrible. It's like a good version of it. It's still kind of obviously fakey, but like you look at how nice like the finale of John Wick 4 looks, where they're doing a similar kind of thing, where it's this big open outdoor battle scene happening with a CGI sunset in the background. But that looks great. And this one, it's just like, it's not just that the visual effects are bad. It's just so much of the attention to detail. It's very, very ugly to look at.
Right.
It's bad. It's really bad. It's super boring as well. They as all these modern Marvel things, it touches on a couple of interesting ideas here or there, but it doesn't follow up on it all. They bring Liv Tyler back for some reason. This is genuinely more of a direct sequel to the 2008 Hulk film than anything recent.
Okay.
It's very odd. Obviously, all the marketing material had Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. That is literally the last thing that happens in the film. I'm shocked they put so much that in there. That is like, I definitely get the sense that like the writer and director thought this would be a cool thing that will like blow people away in the final act of the movie that we're going to. It's like they sold the whole film on it. And constantly throughout the film, like Harrison Ford is like popping pills to suppress a non-specific. He's got some kind of problem. He's popping pills for it. What's going on there? It's like, but you advertise the whole film on the fact that he turns into the Hulk at the end of it. But yeah, rubbish. So that didn't get my hopes up. Then I did watch Thunderbolts, which is basically their, you know, Suicide Squad, rejects and burnouts and anti-heroes are kind of covertly enlisted by someone within the government, you know, kind of black ops, blah-de-blah. That's the premise. I genuinely really enjoyed Thunderbolts because it was kind of the opposite of everything I was describing about Brave New World there. You know, there's a couple of effects here and there you might side-eye, but generally speaking, it's very nicely choreographed, well-shot action set pieces that feel a little bit tactile and thunky and satisfying. Do you know what I mean? They are it feels like, it's not The Raid, but it feels like they got like an actual fight coordinator in here, and they laid out some fun stuff, and they've got most of the actors appear to be doing their own stunts and stuff like that. Florence Pugh's getting in there, and she's hip tossing people and throwing digs, and it looks and feels quite energetic and good. I don't really care for the first two Avengers films. I've never really enjoyed them. I think this film actually does its kind of begrudging teammates slowly warming to each other. I actually think it does that better than both of those films. I think it feels quite natural the way they wind up in each other's company and gradually have to kind of figure out a way to, for their own selfish gains, work together, and then maybe along the way they'll learn a freaking lesson and become pals.
Right.
I was very pleasantly surprised. It wouldn't be among like their best ever Marvel films, but it feels like one of those films from back when they were knocking out winners left, right, and center. So yeah, thumbs up. I would say any people who have checked out on this one is worth watching. Also, no homework required. No, so that one of the main characters is Wyatt Russell, like fake Captain America from like the Disney Plus show.
Full Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. That show was like 12 episodes long. They just explain who he is in literally one sentence, and you go, that's fine. Okay, good. I know who he is. That's great. Okay, good. I didn't have to watch any of that tonight. They go, weren't you like Captain America for like a day, and then you like killed the guy in broad daylight, and now you're not anymore? He's like, shut up about that. And it's like, okay, good. Okay, I get it. Okay, he was for Anthony Mackie. He was the temporary Captain America, but he's a bad boy. Okay, and that's that. Everyone else, likewise, you get your little fillers bits there. If you didn't watch the shitty Black Widow movie, they catch you up on who. Like it's funny because it's like there's a little bit of a knowing kind of people didn't watch any of this shit or they didn't like any of it. So they're like, David Harbour, who was the Soviet Union's version of Captain America. Yeah, I know there's a whole film about it. Yeah, but I'm just saying that's who he is and what he was.
It was probably the best bit of that film. To be honest, he was quite good.
And yeah, so he's good in this again. And Florence Pugh, who is also part of the Black Widow. I know, mate. I watched the previous. I'm just saying that she was also
just to wrap whatever the Thunderbolts is.
Yeah, just wrap whatever the Florence Pugh is and put it in the bag. So that's that. You've got your Winter Soldier, and who else you got in there? They got a new character, Sentry, who's like a big deal in the comics. I don't really know much about him. He's played by a young actor. I don't know his name. He was in the second Strangers movie. If anyone saw that, he's been popping up in a couple of other things lately. He's good, and their equivalent of Viola Davis in the Suicide Squad movies, their kind of shadowy government figure. That's Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
She's in one of those Disney shows. She's been in something previous to this. I have no clue what it is. Again, I'm very checked out. It doesn't matter. You don't have to know. Again, they throw you a couple of lines of dialogue. You go, okay, got it. Good. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to watch anything else. So if you are completely out on Marvel, I would say give this a watch. It is good fun. You can drop in and watch it and get it. And I mean, the big kind of thing they revealed again in the marketing after the film premiered is that these are now the new Avengers, quote unquote, in this world. So there you go. And your post credits thing was they see a big spaceship with a 4 on it. What can it mean? So yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was it. So a thumbs up and a big thumbs down on the MCU. Much like when AEW would have a one good pay per view. I'm like, I not calling Marvel back. It's like because just this calendar year they did release a big pile of shite. But Thunderbolts, we're trending in the right direction. I'm very curious how Fantastic Four goes. I'm very curious about that. But yeah,
nice.
Nothing for you, Joe?
No, I did watch the first 3 minutes of that Captain America thing, just to see how shit it was, and that was enough. I was like, Harrison Ford looks. He couldn't get.
Couldn't give a fuck, baby. Just
he didn't off his fucking hand. He might as well have been.
Yeah, standing around in just these absolutely hideous sets. And at one point in the movie, he flies to Japan for a negotiation, and he's standing in the same grey, ugly, miserable building all these movies are setting, but literally just with cherry blossoms in the foyer. I was like, well done, lads. No, seamless. Very good. Yeah, rubbish. Anyway. Teleguff. Where are we on? I still haven't started The Bear. Where are we on The Bear season 4?
I'm halfway through. I've watched the first 5.
Go on.
Most of the way through it, actually.
Okay.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Well,
interesting. Okay,
nice. I was going to say one of the I think it might have been episode 4. It's the one episode that isn't directed by Christopher Storr or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my favorite episode since like season 1 or 2.
Okay.
I don't think it spoils anything to say it's an episode that kind of primarily is around Ayo Dibri's character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought that episode was just totally fun. The thematic stuff they were doing totally landed for me. Really, really enjoyable. So yeah, halfway through, I'm kind of enjoying it as well. And like I said, I think it has a bit more of a feeling of forward momentum that season 3 didn't have.
Yeah, there's a literal ticking clock.
The literal ticking clock is a little bit lame.
It's a bit silly, but at least they gave it something to.
But there's also stuff happening outside of the ticking clock that, like, character stuff is moving the plot forward as well.
Yeah, that's also I think of. It's got a bit kind of sprawling where I've kind of just forgotten a lot of the sort of smaller storylines.
But
who's going on here then?
It's sprawling even within itself, though, where one of the early episodes, episode 2, I think, deals with kind of a lingering thread from season 2, I think. And so Carmi goes and visits with somebody. And then the next episode has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's about some other completely different thing. And so while everything feels like it's moving forward, it's kind of a little scattergun in its approach still.
Yeah, not too many gratuitous cameos, actually. Well, they kind of just bring back all the cameos they've had before, so I don't know if that's gratuitous. It feels a little bit gratuitous, but it's not new people so much.
Yeah,
so
I'm yet to really have one that I felt like, ugh.
Yeah.
But so far, I mean, I don't think it's back to its best, but it's kind of like Kota Ibushi.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that's exactly how. Season 3 was like Kota Ibushi last year, where he just looked fat and kept falling off the top rope. This season is like Kota Ibushi versus Okada. Really good, but not great.
Okay, I haven't heard too many ringing endorsements, right? But you boys giving it the sign out. I'm like, all right, I
wouldn't give it a ringing endorsement. I would say we're into like 7 out of 10 maybe territory.
Yeah.
But like the one episode I really, really enjoyed, and the rest of them, I don't feel like I watch an episode like I did in season 3 and go, what was that? Why am I wasting my time watching this? Like every time I watch an episode, I come away thinking, okay, I got something definitive from that I feel like I couldn't have skipped that episode, where you could probably skip the majority of season 3 and just go from 2 to 4 and you would kind of end it, in the same situation. So each episode feels a little bit more important this time around. I can definitely say that. And the Ayo Dibri episode was a banger. So there you go.
What else is on the telly, boys?
Taskmaster
Finale, an excellent finale.
Very good. Very good.
With an excellent task.
Fast food. Was fast food this week or last week?
Yeah. It was
this week, wasn't it? Yeah.
Which was a banger, which was an absolute stone cold banger.
No,
and also funny. the make a pose and then stay in that pose for 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute banger. I mean,
simple.
A great closer to a really strong season. I gotta say.
Yeah, very fun. Liked everyone. Good chemistry. Generally good tasks.
A season that I think got stronger as it went on.
Yeah.
I mean, first few episodes I was maybe not super certain. I remember we were complaining about the tasks have too many caveats and the tasks are too convoluted. By the end, I don't think I had any of those complaints for like the last 5 episodes. So they saved all the good shit for the end. Hopefully they're listening to some people, feedback on that. Yeah, really, really great. I guess I'll start now with season 15, work my way through those missing seasons and specials. They did announce the season 20 cast as well, Joe.
Yeah.
Sheer Smith is there. He's kind of the one name for me that really...
He's good.
As inside number 10 or inside number 9 fans. I don't know what 10 is. Inside number 9 fans.
You've got Sanjeev Bhaskar. He's good. He's kind of old. He's the old fart like character.
Yeah.
Jack D type.
Badil. Yeah.
You got a couple of young guns. Yeah, it's looking good. Looking good.
On the video game front, Paul.
Yeah.
Following our thread from earlier, I mean, how is Mario Kart World?
It's good. It's certainly not 8, which is kind of, in a sense, a disappointment. But also, I get that this is, every Mario Kart from 1 to 8 just felt like very much a direct succession of bigger, crazier gimmick, but still the same core course design. You drive around the course, So it does feel a little bit like, maybe it's not as severe as Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but it has a similar kind of, they've sacrificed a number of strengths that the core series has to try something different. So I've really only played Grand Prix and Knockout Tour modes. I haven't really done any of the open world stuff. I'll give it a try. I'm not super interested in it, to be honest. And the Grand Tour or Grand Prix mode is kind of still feels more or less the same. I mean, you do have the caveat of, you don't just have like your 4 tracks and you do 3 laps on each and you're done. You do 3 laps on the first course, then you drive to the second course, which takes up 2 laps, which is, it's not just like you're driving down straight highways. They do feel like elongated courses with like cars and other, obstacles. So you still feel like you're driving typical Mario Kart course. You just then have the final lap is the next level, so that's where the big theme comes in. And then the final course will typically be like some kind of 6-lap special course where it's designed in a slightly different way. I mean, it doesn't feel quite as tight as Mario Kart 8, even in terms of its controls. They have changed the way the drifting works, which took me a little while to get used to. I found myself constantly falling off the level because it's a little bit like when you turn into a turn and hit the trigger, you turn more into the turn now. So let's say you're drifting to the left. Okay. Yeah, you need to really go wider into the turn or apply your drift later into the turn. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself careening off a level. But the bigger number of racers now is 24 people per race, so there's much more going on. The Knockout Tour, though, is what's been getting all the plaudits, and I think I do agree. I mean, I think the Knockout Tour is the fun new mode where it's kind of the Battle Royale mode, right? Where you've got 6 different checkpoints throughout the race. You're racing across 6 different courses and driving between them. And at the first check mark, you have to be in the top 20 or you're eliminated. Then you have to be in the top 12, top 8, top 4, and so on and so on. So those races can get crazy, especially in online mode, but those are a lot of fun. That's kind of, I feel like, where the compromises that have been made in Grand Prix pay off in Knockout Tour. And then otherwise, yeah, like I said, I haven't been doing a lot of the open world, but it does kind of feel for the most part like a slightly lesser version of 8. The music's not quite as good. The course design's not quite as crazy. But like I say, it feels like they've kind of cut some of the corners in order to stick them onto this one specific mode, which is super fun, and it does feel like different enough to make it worth it. But I don't know if overall that means that the game is a slight disappointment or slightly not as good. It doesn't feel like Mario Kart 9. It does feel like a spin-off of sorts where they've tried to do something super markedly different as opposed to like an evolution of the same franchise. But it's fun. It's fine. Like I said, I played maybe 4 or 5 of each, like 4 or 5 Grand Prix, 4 or 5 Knockout Tours, because it isn't my Switch at the end of the day. I'm only playing it when it's free or in multiplayer mode. So
it sounds good, but it does sound to me though that it has the singular thing on the Switch too. It doesn't sound to me like you play it, you're like, oh fuck, I gotta go get one. Yeah,
I think Donkey Kong is really gonna be that. I'm not sure that Mario Kart, of course, Mario Kart 8 selling so many. Mario Kart's it's kind of like the Jurassic World, right? It's always going to bring in the money. People are, except it's good. People are going to always buy Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8, the 6th best-selling game of all time.
It should just be standard with the console, really. It's just that everyone wants Mario Kart.
Everyone wants Mario Kart. I don't know that the Switch is worth it for just Mario Kart yet, but when Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out,
yeah,
and then Metroid later this year, probably Metroid Prime 4. I mean, all the third-party games that are already, I mean, it's going to start to snowball into a console that's worth having. I mean, Nintendo, of course, yeah, compared to other developers and other, maybe aside from like Obsidian, but compared to other developers, Nintendo are great for getting 3 or 4 games out a year that are worth checking out, whereas with PlayStation or Xbox, you might get one or two. Aside from like your great indie games, you might get one or two guaranteed per year. Nintendo have a bit more of a batting average. So, hey, a baseball reference. I know all about that sport.
We bloody love them.
So no, I wouldn't be running out to get a Switch just yet. But maybe, in a year's time when the prices maybe slightly come down, although Nintendo are notorious for that not happening as well. Just price slightly come down, a few more first-party games on it. I mean, that's when I'd be diving in. Maybe when there's a Mario or Zelda on Horizon to kind of buffer up the already, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Metroid catalog as well.
Yeah, I'm feeling like the reception of Donkey Kong will be like my first. Okay, I want to.
I mean, Donkey Kong, from what we saw in the direct, the latest one, looks great, and it is the Odyssey team, so it is Donkey Kong Odyssey for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks like it shares a lot of similarities with Odyssey in terms of the exploration and the controls and so on. It does have the extra element of just world destruction, like in a kind of Minecrafty / Zelda way. But it does look like the core elements of the game are going to be very similar to Odyssey, where you have these individual levels. You're finding the bananas. Pauline is in it, which is a very surface level comparison, but she'd have been in both games. I mean, I think it looks fantastic. I mean, I'm really excited to see the reviews and play it eventually.
Yeah, me too. I mean, for games that are currently released, how's your Vampire Survivors?
Oh, I didn't know if I was going to get there, Barry, but I did roll credits on Vampire Survivors.
Wow, I never did that.
18 hours and 10 minutes, and I rolled credits. So there is a very defined end to the game. There is an end boss, and when you beat that boss, you do roll the credits. So I was doing, as I said, I did a load of the unlockables. I think I had 120 of 160 or whatever that ends up being. And when you're following those, without realizing it, you are being kind of shepherded into the way of beating the game. So there's like 5 levels. You beat those 5 levels. The 5th level has like a boss at the end of it who's like all the Reapers in one. But that's not the end of the game. Once you beat that character, then on the level select screen, you'll see if there are relics you haven't found yet in each level. Once you collect all the relics, then that unlocks the true final level. Once you beat that boss, you beat the game. So 18 hours in, many, many runs, unlocked most of the stuff in the game. Like I said, not everything, but like I don't want to play the game for 100 hours. I got my fill of it. Rolled the credits, and I said, you know what, that was really fun, but now it's time for something new. So Celeste, loved it, great, beat it, roll credits. Vampire Survivors, loved it, great, roll credits. On to the next thing.
I just started playing it today.
Oh, there you go. How are you finding it?
It's a lot of fun. I don't know, the progress so far is slow, but I might not be playing it right. But maybe it's just taking time.
Well, the advice that I was given, when you start a level and you're getting your gems and unlocking other weapons. Yeah. The advice that I saw online was that 1 level 6 item is better than 6 level 1 items.
Okay.
And of course, the more items you have, then when you get like beat a high level enemy and you get the little chest, obviously that's being spread across your 6 items or whatever. So maybe it's better to focus on 1 or 2 items early on. Right. There are also combinations. You do unlock at some point an item which shows you which are the things that pair together to like evolve. So there is like a special version of the whip, but you need to have the exact pairing item in order to evolve. So that might be something that you can like look up online and see, okay, I got the whip. What do I need to pair that with? So for example, you have items that like do damage. You also have items like the clover or the, bracer, like the items that like make you go faster or make you get more experience. Those are actually the items that pair together. You just need to know which goes with which. And then 5 hours in, you'll have like the video that I sent last week was me with 6 items fully evolved, and the screen is just going. Blah, blah, blah. So it is a bit of a slow curve because even as you play, you're also unlocking the items Balatro style in the sense of unlocking a Joker, right? It's the same kind of progression where this item can now be found in the level. So the more and more you do that, the more and more combinations you can make, more and more characters you unlock. And of course, when you're on the character selection screen, you can see their perks, and some characters do more damage or some characters do more whatever. I would say two of the items that I think are very useful early on are the garlic and the Bible.
Oh, okay. I've been using garlic. When I get that, I'm like, garlic. I need the garlic.
Garlic is useful early on, and then kind of as you get to the middle, it becomes less useful, and then towards the end, it becomes more useful again. So, garlic and the Bible, if you have them leveled up, they can get close to you. But also your range is kind of limited to that little circle around you. So you can pair that with like knives, axe, whatever else you can get. But I'd recommend sticking to those. And then, if you could look up what does the garlic pair with, the garlic leveled up and evolved, that area that enemies can't get through, you also suck HP from them. So it becomes even more powerful. You get like a more powerful version, and then that unlocks other stuff, and then it's a whole domino effect. But it's a really fun game when you get into it. And again, Joe, there is an end point, so you can beat the game. I'm thinking though, with how you play Balatro, you might be unlocking everything in the game.
Well, if you're gonna do it, you gotta finish.
If you're gonna Norm Macdonald on Brokeback Mountain, if you're gonna make it right. Okay, Vampire Stars, it's a hell of a game. Very, very, very fun.
And it's on every device known to man, and it is £3.
It's cheap and it's easy to play. One control, move. That's all you need to know. But having beat that, I did start playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
This is great timing because I'm playing a couple of other things, but I've kind of decided I'm like deep in Act 2. I'm like, when I have free gaming time, I'm just going to play this because it's a big fucking game. I'm really deep in it. I want to get through this bad boy. So now you play games. I feel like you play games a lot faster than I do. So we might actually align.
Well, the thing is, you play a lot more games than me.
I
only play one game at a time. So.
But this is why I'm really bad for that. So I'm still haven't finished like Doom. So I'm falling into this bad trap of just kind of playing too many things at once. So I'm like, if it's even a half hour just on my break from work and I'm like, I'm going to play something. Let's do a fucking level of different. Like, okay, Clair Obscur. That is my game now. Yeah. So where are you at? Where are you at on it? What's the opening feel on it?
Well, let me tell you where I am literally first before I figure. So I'm about 2.5 hours in. I'm still in Act 1, but I've been through the manor and I'm in the flying water zone or whatever that's called.
Okay.
What's the last thing I did? There was a mini boss who was like hitting something at an anvil, and I fought him. I think I'm probably towards the latter half of that area, more or less. I'm not sure exactly where, but my characters are like levels 7 to 9.
Okay.
But yes, I am very much enjoying it. I mean, I think the star of the show is the music.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
like from the second you boot it, the deeper I get into it, the more I'm appreciating like the individual. Like you're just constantly saying like, "Oh, this music's great." I don't know if you've done this yet. You've been to camp, have you? You've been to camp?
Yes.
Did you? I can't remember when they introduced this mechanic, but have you written in Gustav's journal?
Yes.
That just is quiet, like meditative bit of music that plays. So you'll get loads of opportunities to do that. It's so good. It's so fucking good. And like the entire story of this game, it's like, I think they just went on some, like, it wasn't Fiverr, but it was like an equivalent site. They just recruited like some guy who just had a portfolio out there to write all this music. And it's jaw-dropping.
Unbelievable music. Yeah. I mean, the game is great. It looks great. The story is very melodramatic and engaging. But like when I'm playing it and I go into a new area, the music starts up every time. It's catching me. Like wow, what a game. So yeah, like 2.5 hours in, I believe it's 30 to 35 kind of to beat. So I've a good bit of it ahead of me. But like I'm very much enjoying the battle system. It seems like a good compromise between, like, when you start playing, it seems like, there's 100 systems and I don't know what they mean, and powerful and colors and tints and but then when you start playing it, it just kind of clicks and it just kind of makes sense for the most part. You don't really need to pay too much attention to the individual little kind of mechanics. You can get through. I'm sure as the game continues, that will kind of continue to click more and more, but with your kind of bare essentials, the enemies have weak points. You're shooting them off first, then you're using your standard attacks, then you're using your special attacks, and then it's kind of killing enemies handily enough.
Yeah, it is shocking how much that stuff clicks, because like you said, it's so good at tutorializing you on all that stuff. You almost don't realize, you're an hour in, the game has taught you fucking 70 mechanics by the time you even get out of the prologue. But they all just kind of flow relatively gracefully. There's I thought I was going to hate the fact that basically every character has their own completely unique gimmick, the
stance and the magic and the
and then there's a character you'll meet later, Paul, that has a complete a card dealing mechanic. There's a character with a wheel, but it's all just. They just explain it to you very clearly and concisely. It's the UI is very intuitive. So, and I don't know, but you're more of a kind of an RPG guy than me. I don't think either of us are kind of big, old school, JRPG,
No,
it's not my wheelhouse at all.
The closest for me would be the Paper Mario games or the Pokemon games.
Yeah, and I'm not even into them. I'm just so. I tried to play Final Fantasy earlier this year, the Game Boy Advance one. I liked it, but it's just not my thing.
I think this game is also a lot less severe with those. I started playing one of the Final Fantasies on the DS, and it felt like I got 3 steps and I was in a random battle, 2 more steps a random battle, and then I just turned it off and never played it again.
Yeah, this is a big quality of life. This is a 2025 ass game with regular checkpoints.
Maybe even slight Western influence. Let's say
very, very exactly. Yeah, that too, and it's just kind of because also one thing you'll really appreciate it the more you go is you can do as much or little of the open world combat as you want. You can kind of just run away from every fight because gone are the days of the open world RPG. You just get a fight thrown at you and you have to do it, Pokemon style. You can see everyone when you're wandering around the level, and you can. But
I've fought every enemy so far because I want to get the XP.
I was doing that up until just in the last couple. I'm about 23, 24 hours in. Okay. Just in the last few, I've been kind of, in the name of story progress. I think I'm leveled quite well.
Okay.
But I early on, I was like, yeah, I'll fight everyone. A, because it's fun, and B, it'll let me level. I've also heard that in general, that's a consistent thing. This is a game. I hate when games don't let you do this. I think it should be an option. This is a game that will let you over level if you want. If you want to do every single fight, do every optional area,
grind a
you can do that.
Yeah.
And you can, and so I did loads of that early on, and now I'm kind of moving away from it, but I don't feel like I've been punished, for not doing that. Yeah. It's great, and the voice is acting. I was just actually, when we were talking about it off air, because we were talking about Charlie Cox, of course, who plays Gustav. I was trying to, I recognized, the gray-haired man there from when you land on the island at first. Yeah, I was trying to figure. The whole time I've been playing, I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? And I googled it, and it's a man in a CGI suit. So of course it's Andy Serkis.
Oh, that's
why is it?
So I should have known.
Allowed to do that? Fucking,
I don't know. But he's really, because he's so bloody good at it. He's so bloody good at it.
They better train someone up just in case he gets hit by a bus.
And then once I read that, I was like, oh yeah, of course it's it, because it's you reckon. Then you go, hey, he's kind of gravelly. He's like a bad guy in this, and he's great. Yeah, really top notch stuff. I'm looking forward to what you make of the of it the more you get in.
Well, very, very into it so far. Very enjoyable. I mean, Joe, if you might not ever play it, but listen to the music at least. It's out of this world. Oh, is it artwork time?
It's artwork time. Sorry, listeners, to interrupt Game Cuff. The choice of shirt is gone. Oh, Smith.
Oh, it's my actual car. That is the model of car I own.
Wow, it was live from the scene.
And the same colour. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's great stuff. But anyway, Clair, Obscur, really fantastic. I was surprised by, because the story is quite camp. It is a little bit over the top. Very melodramatic. I was surprised at how compelling it has been so far. I'm really into it. And also I get the vibe, I don't have to tell you this, but much like the diary, those camp sections, you can spend like an hour at the camp. They give you so many. Do you want to hang out with this person? Do you want to chat to this person?
Yeah.
The amount of just lovely little moments that you can completely miss if you want. They're not, but there'll be massive conversations, beautiful pieces of music, little character things. It's always worth it. In my experience thus far, it has always been worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah. We'll do a weekly check-in, I'd imagine, on that. Alrighty, and that's Game Guff for the week. Thanks very much for listening, folks. ChairShotPodcast.com if you want to pop us an email, as Richard did earlier. Also, you can take a look at the standings for the Fantasy League, see who's still a free agent, who you could nab if you were to do a team. Who would you nab? You got any advice for us here on our transfer window? We'd love to hear from you. And we'll be back. The boys will be back next week with an all-in. So what are you actually going to do? You're going to wait till it's over and then do a post show?
I think we have to, don't we?
Yeah, we get our preview, I suppose.
It's Saturday. It's not Sunday.
It's Saturday. Oh, wow. Okay. Right. Okay. AEW reclaiming Saturdays. That's what you love to see now. So yeah, the lads will have an all-in review. Very excited for that show. So with all that said, folks, enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much for listening. And it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Joe.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Paul.
Goodbye.